Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for September 29, 2024. We're going to be looking at the Week 4 NFL picks, the final thoughts here on video, Saturday updates, locked-in spreads, or locked-in picks rather, player props. I have a teaser posted, going to go over injuries, etc., and everything else. Before we introduce the co-host, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see here, I have a ton of t-shirts available, all reasonably priced. They're high quality, so they won't wear down right away. So buying any of these would really help out. I am, as usual, wearing one of my actually, I'm not seeing the shirt I have on here. Look, it's the Rogers Butker Make Football Great Again shirt. I'm actually I'm not seeing it here. I think they took down the Butker apron, and now they took down the Butker t-shirt. So I'm going to have to redesign this or something. But I guess I'm wearing this limited edition t-shirt, which actually comes with a chocolate stain for my daughter here on my collar. I don't know if you guys can see it. The chocolate stain is not included in these t-shirts, but you can buy them, help out the show. That would be really appreciated. Also, super chats, super stickers. This is the best way to support the show because YouTube ads pay nothing. You guys have been so awesome with your contributions. Slew, John Sanders recently have been so awesome. Slightly more recently, we had Andrew Z, Cam Meek and Eagle, and Stuart Griffin in the past, Degeneron, Kevin Kovac, Germ. You guys have been so awesome and just really, I can't say enough. It just means so much when you guys help out. So that's the best way to do it. You could also go to Amazon, buy my books. My third book is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of very strange people at Penn State. My second book was How the 2020 MVP Was Stolen. I don't know if you guys heard the story, but Aaron Rodgers won the 2020 MVP, but Brett Favre tried to sabotage Aaron Rodgers in doing so. So this is an expose I wrote. I did a lot of research on it, and I think you guys will enjoy this insane story if you guys haven't read it yet. So without further ado, we welcome in our special guest, our usual co-host on Saturday, Quacky T. Tom, how's it going?
Walter, here we are again. I'll tell you, I've really been thinking this has been a really weird season. And, it's time for me to cut out the foolishness. I'm not going to be telling any jokes or anything tonight. As per usual, we're going to cut out the foolishness and get down to business here. No, but, I've really been thinking, the last 2 years especially, and I wanted to kind of get into this a little bit before we break into the games. Do you think I feel like you and I have always historically over the 20 years we've been doing this together have been pretty good at identifying trap games and being on the right side of those. I feel like all last season and this season, it's kind of been going the other way more than I'm used to. So I think my point is the game has changed. I wonder if the public trap, if you will, for lack of a better term, has kind of become mainstream and well known that maybe it's choreographed choreographed slightly the other way now. I don't know. What do you think? It's the game has definitely changed, and I find myself behind the curve just a little bit here. So
I think we've seen some traps this year. Week 1, Bengals, Patriots. Unfortunately, we fell for the trap, and the Bengals were favored. It wasn't like a trappy line. The Bengals were what, the 7-point favorites or something, 7.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
And they lost outright to the Patriots, and the public was on the Bengals, and so were we. So I would think that was one at least. In week 2, I think the Raiders and Ravens, a lot of people had the Ravens, especially after watching the Raiders lose. Again, not a trappy line. The Ravens were -9.5, but the public was on Baltimore and the Raiders won. We haven't seen, to your point though, we haven't really seen small favorites lose. Although here's one example, Colts Packers. Remember Colts were -3 at Green Bay.
Yeah.
And every square loved the Colts. I was going to save this anecdote for later. I might as well say it now and then go back to it. I have a friend who's super into fantasy, and he's really good at DFS, but he just doesn't he just even says this. I'm not even talking trash. He admits it openly. He's yeah, I'm so bad at handicapping football games, I don't even try. It's whatever. But he does look at spreads, and he tries to guess them sometimes. And he said back in week 2, I was talking to him, and he's like, oh, how are the Colts not -10 here? Yeah, I don't get it. And
Wow.
so that's just one example. And I'll give you later on. I'll give you the game that he loves, and you might like what you hear.
Okay.
But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And one thing I might add too. Usually in the past, I feel like my knee jerk kind of reactions to like looking at the lines are I end up getting on the right side after thinking it through. But like so far this season, like I can think it to like remember every week for those of you viewing at home here, I'll send Walter just a list of like my knee jerk like reactions, like what teams I like. And last week the list I sent you went 8-2. And like you're talking about that Bengals Patriots game. Remember, like up until like my gut. Remember, I came on the show and said like I might sprinkle Patriots money line, and then I got talked out of it at the end. So like what my point here is, I feel like it's just like the tables have turned. Like my kind of initial reaction has tended to be right. This last season and a half, and I kind of talked myself out of it, thinking I'm talking myself into something else. So I don't know. I think it just helps to talk these things through. If because we're doing slightly below average, but I think we've gotten hosed a couple times too.
Yes.
So it hasn't been horrible, but just some things I was thinking about, and as I'm sure many of our viewers go, maybe go through something similar too within their betting.
Mm-hmm.
So
first of all, since Falcons will drop a third straight home game, it's actually their second straight, isn't it? Because they played in Philly in week 2, so yeah, they played at home against the Chiefs in week 3, and this is their second straight home game. I actually looked this up without fact checking that first. I looked up how teams do in their third straight home games after losing their first 2 home games. They actually cover 61% of the time, so that's it's maybe a good angle to use in the future, but this actually does not apply to Atlanta here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 3 home games in general. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, we'll get to that game in a second. Well, we have it on the screen here. Might as well kick things off here. Saints of the Falcons. This line is 3 in most places right now. At Bookmaker, it's -2.5, -113. I know that because I just locked this in for 3 units. The reason I did that is because there was a news report on Chris Olave. It sounds like he's going to be a game time decision. Now, if he plays, he may not be 100%, and so I would still like Atlanta. I mean, I would like him anyway. If he does not play, then this line's going to go to 3, maybe in 3.5. Well, I mean, it is 3 in most places. It might go to 3.5. But the fact is, like, the -2.5 is going to be gone. So that's why I'm locking Atlanta in. The Saints are dealing with a number of injuries. In addition to Olave, they're down 3 offensive linemen, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ryan Ramczyk. And their star linebacker, Damari Davis, is going to be out too. So this is a team that's ravaged by injuries. Atlanta wants revenge here. So I am taking Atlanta. However, a player prop I like is Bijan Robinson under 76.5 rushing yards. He's only gone over 70 once this year, and the Saints actually play pretty well against the run. They're 8th in run defense, so I think Bijan may not have a great game, especially with 2 offensive linemen out for Atlanta. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I like the Falcons here too, Walt, and it did make our super contest card as well. And something that you brought up last night in our weekly call made me realize tonight that I have what I think is a pretty decent angle here. If you like the Falcons, consider them an alt line like -6 or -9, because I'm here to tell you now, after you brought up, remember the Saints like scored on them in garbage time, like after they were already up, and then there was the whole interview with Jameis Winston after. He's like, it was a team decision. Mm-hmm. The reporter was like, you got to play these guys twice a year. So my point is, if you like the Falcons and you think they're going to cover to it, like, if given the opportunity, they're gonna step on the put the cinder block on the gas as a result of what happened in the final game of the season last year. So if you like the Falcons, I take an alt line. There's no way they wouldn't. I don't think.
Yeah,
so I like that angle of it. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say I like the idea of alt lines, like trying to get under a key number. You said 6.5. I think I would go 5.5 personally, because 6 is such a key number these days. But even still, like 6.5 is pretty good too. I wouldn't go above 7, just because 7 is the second most likely result of any NFL game. I'm looking at like Caesars right now. The Falcons at -6.5 is +139. At -5.5 is +120. So I think I would.
Doesn't seem that great.
It doesn't seem great, no. But you can probably find better deals elsewhere. I'll try to find something tonight. If I find something like above plus 150, then I will certainly lock that in. And like similarly, I like if you like an underdog, a lot of people will take the money line. I actually think taking the -2.5 on an underdog is just so much better because you get so much more value. So Falcons at -5.5 is plus 135 at MGM, bet MGM, and -6.5 is plus 150. So it's better odds there, slightly better. So minus 5.5 plus 135 is not bad. But I would hope to find a plus 150 though.
Yeah, I also think I don't know. I'm still not 100% sold on the Saints. I mean, sure they beat Dallas, but Dallas is kind of turning out to be. I mean, who is Dallas beating? The Browns and the Giants. I don't know. And I really like the Eagles to beat them to cover last week, and then they won outright against them. So the Saints, I don't know. I think I've been wrong about them earlier in the season, but I think there's a chance they're a bit overrated here. In currently. So and like I said, I think the Falcons are going to step on the gas pedal if given the opportunity. So
yeah. I like Atlanta here, and I like that you brought up the motivational angle. The only downside I see here is that Atlanta plays on Thursday night against Tampa, but this is their biggest rival. Like I don't think they look past the Saints, especially given the revenge factor that you brought up. All right, so next game, let's get to Steelers at Colts. This is the one where I was referring to my friend who admittedly can't handicap for NFL picks. He said he thinks the Steelers should be favored by at least a touchdown here. So it's good news for you because I know you like the Colts here. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Sorry.
The only thing that bothers me here about the Colts is that they have so many injuries. Ryan Kelly, DNP in practice. Braden Smith, DNP in practice on Friday. DeForest Buckner's out. Kenny Moore's out. Kwity Paye is out as well. Just so many injuries for Indianapolis. But I mean, you can take away here. You like the Colts a lot more than I do. So why do you like them?
I really like this spot. I really like this spot for them. I think the Steelers, obviously their defense is really fantastic, but it's like, I don't know. They scored, come on, they've only scored 13 points against I love the Denver Broncos, but I mean, and then they couldn't even score a touchdown against Atlanta. I just, even as good as their defense is, I like the chances that Anthony Richardson can make some plays and put some points on the board that might be more than their off than the Steelers' offense. And I really like him in this spot, especially. And the Steelers, they have a pretty comfortable lead there in their division. That they don't. This game means a lot more to the Colts too. They need this. It kind of reminds me of when the Colts hosted the Kansas City Chiefs a couple seasons ago. And remember, we were on the Colts plus 5.5. Yep. Not suggesting that the Steelers team was on par with that Chiefs team. I'm not, but this has that kind of same feel here. I really like the Colts in this spot. I think they're my favorite play of the week.
Nice. I can see it being a really bad motivational spot for the Steelers. They are the healthier team. They have the better defense, but their offense is kind of wonky. And so if there's a team that can't take advantage of Indianapolis' defensive injuries, it might be the Steelers. Although Justin Fields kind of looks appealing to me in DFS. I also like George Pickens quite a lot in DFS. Baron's asking, would you grab Atlanta -3 for next week versus Tampa before they play New Orleans? Now, I like looking ahead. I think that's a smart thing to do. My worry with that is like Tampa could beat the Eagles, and so I don't think it would be affected. But if you think differently in that regard, then I think that grabbing Atlanta -3 would work out because I'm out of both Atlanta versus New Orleans and Philly versus Tampa, I'm most confident that Atlanta is going to cover over the other game. So I think if you want to, I think Atlanta -3 makes sense versus Tampa. First goal says Tomlin road favorite numbers aren't pretty. Got away with it in Denver. Doubt they'll do it this time. Close win. So I discussed this a couple weeks ago and maybe even last week. So you're right. Like Tomlin as a road favorite is bad, but only more than a field goal. Like if he's a road favorite of 3 or less, then he's fine. He actually is like slightly above 500. But like once you get beyond 3, once you get 3.5 or higher, like his spread record is just awful. It's like 30% or something. So yeah, just keep that in mind. As a short favorite, he's actually done quite well. Wait, next game is were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just want to see how much of the, because there's the public's on the Steelers, right? Okay,
Yeah,
slight lean. It looks like.
Not I mean, unless things have changed, yes, very slightly. It's not anything major. Sharp money on the Colts, but only a little bit. Yeah, nothing substantial in that regard. You would think it would be higher, especially after what my friend said.
Right.
How often is Pittsburgh a 3+ road favorite, though? Well, we could look it up. That's thankfully for us, a site called Killer Sports.
In the Tomlin era, so would be starting the 06-07 season.
Yeah,
and that would, I mean, they've had so many good teams. I feel like it's probably a decent bit.
Yeah, so he took over in 2007, right? So
06-07, because the Steelers won the Super Bowl in 05-06, and that was Cowher's last year, and then he took over 06-07.
I think Cowher played coached one more year after the Super Bowl.
No, I don't think so. I think that was it. He and Bettis both went out that year, I think.
Well, now we have to look this up first. Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I'm going to say, he's 06-07.
He was hired by the Steelers coach in 2007. There you go. Ha. I remember Cowher coached one year after.
Did he? I'm losing my mind, man. I'm freaking losing. Are you being serious?
Yeah. I remember specifically Cowher coaching one more year after 05.
I don't know. I can't believe. I guess I was just thinking about Bettis. I don't.
Yeah, you're right about Bettis. Yeah, you're right about Bettis. But Cowher stayed one more year. All right. Anyway, 07. How often were they road favorites? So I was right about 30%. So 46 times. He is 30-16 straight up. So he wins these games. However, he doesn't cover 17 and 30 against the spread. I don't know why 47. I guess there was a tie. There was a tie in there. So that's why 46 straight up.
I love a tie.
No. I hate ties in sports. I hate ties as far as clothes are concerned. I think ties are the worst. I think they're one of the worst inventions ever. And I think that in 100 years or 200 years, whenever we reach enlightenment, like humans will look back at this era and prior eras and be like, why are those idiots wearing this piece of string around their necks? Like how useless is that?
I don't really wear a tie anymore.
I think it's so ugly too. I think the open collar look is just so much better.
Yeah, I think so too. I very rarely wear a tie anymore. Like at the office, I'll if I even wear a jacket, I'll wear open collar. I'm with you. I'm tired of tying ties, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong? But think about the social consequences of going out with a clip on.
Well, then you don't do that. You just don't wear a tie. I never wear a tie. Even at my wedding, I didn't have a tie. Like I don't wear ties. Right. I refuse it. And if people give me dirty looks, then so be it. Then screw them. And they say that ties are like kissing your sister. I think Tony Dungy said that once. Jamie Lannister might like it, but that's about it. But he doesn't have to wear a tie because he's in medieval times.
I'd hate to see a Super Bowl that ended in a tie. Who said that? Tell me.
It's McNabb.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're good. That was the 08-09 season.
Yeah.
They tied the Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, and remember he said that one of the refs flagged him down. It's like, hey Donovan. He's like, there's going to be a second overtime. He's like, no, they didn't do that. That didn't happen.
No.
And then at the end of the press conference, he goes, I hate to see a Super Bowl that ends in a tie. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, just bring the hole deeper.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not the brightest guy. Physical says, I'm not a trends guy personally, just play spots. Colts is just an auto bet with that number begging for public money. Plus they
Agreed.
are I think you guys are on the money there with the spot there. But like I said, I worry about the injuries. That's the main concern I have. So let's move on. Let's get to the next game, which is Jaguars Texans. This line is 5.5 in some places. It was last 6 when I last updated the site, but it's dropped to 5.5. I think there's some negativity about Nico Collins with his injuries. Like I was listening to what was it? I think it was Fantasy Points, their podcast tonight. One of the co-hosts said that Nico Collins is going to be a game time decision, which is shocking to me because he doesn't have an injury designation. But anyway, maybe that's the concern here. Maybe that's why people are betting the Jaguars. I really don't know otherwise because the Jaguars have such like major injuries defensively. Like they're missing their top linebacker for Lunacon. They're missing the top cornerback Tyson Campbell, and they're missing one of their safeties, Darnell Savage. And their defense is already bad. Trevor Lawrence has been a disaster, and you could say, yeah, the Jaguars are coming off a blowout Monday night, but the Texans are coming off a blowout too. So I expect CJ Stroud to be on point in this game. I love backing good quarterbacks coming off a loss. CJ Stroud, since week 2 of his rookie year, is 5-1 against the spread off a loss. And speaking of Stroud, I like his player prop over 264.5 passing yards. The Jaguars are 28th in pass defense. 28th in EPA defense. And you might be thinking like, oh, the Texans haven't done anything offensively this year. So the teams they played so far defensively, according to EPA, are 16th, 4th, and 3rd. Now they get a team that's 28th. So this is their easiest matchup by far. And the Jaguars play a lot of man, which CJ Stroud historically has just torched like relentlessly. So I love Stroud here. I think he's kind of a big game. I think you could play him in DFS. The one concern I have with that is that like you don't know if you can stack him with Collins, but you could definitely put Diggs in there. But yeah, I love Houston. They're one of my super contest plays. What do you think about this one?
I don't have too much more in the way of reasoning, but I'll take the Texans here. Typically, I feel like kind of in line with what we were talking about at the beginning of the show of no more trap games. Typically, like because of the number, like this would be a spot that I would like Jacksonville, I think. But really, like I've been like trying to say like they're going to be getting better. Like last, they really bit the dust at the end of the season last year. I've had high expectations for them for a little while now, and like they just haven't met them, and they haven't really done anything this season that's like given me any confidence. The only thing, like I think I would used to like them in this spot, but Houston seems a little easy here, but I think they could run a clinic on them. Jacksonville just hasn't given me any reason to like them here, so yeah. I'm on board with Houston as well.
Okay, sounds good. Next one is Vikings at the Packers. So we had some news today.
Oh, yeah.
No cookie Jordan Love is going to play in this game.
Why are they doing that?
Why
are they? I mean, come on.
Go ahead. Go rant. Please.
Sorry. Y'all know I'm a lifelong Packers fan. It's like, why are you doing that? You're gonna rush him back. We're too it's gonna be fine. Give him like a couple more weeks. Why are you gonna rush this? Like, I still think that there's like a chance they could like. I mean, the line was 2.5 before Love was announced that he was gonna play too, right?
Yep.
So
let me see if it moved to 3. Hold on, I'm gonna check here. Yeah, it's 3 even across the board. Looks like 3 minus 105 a bookmaker.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this one. I mean, the line, even before Love was announced as the starter here, it really seems like to me that Vegas is really begging you to take Minnesota in that spot. But I just don't like Jordan Love coming back. I can't be on the Packers. I think I got to go with the Vikings. Some people, as we discussed, like the Aaron Jones, the revenge angle. There's not revenge from I saw many memes of him expressing how grateful he was for his time in Green Bay. So I don't think there's like any anger fueled sort of revenge here, but he is very much familiar with the team, so that could only benefit them. I also like Justin Jefferson maybe looking for a little revenge on Alexander, who may not play for taunting him with his touchdown dance too. I don't know. I like the Vikings more now that Jordan Love is starting because I just think it's too soon. I think this could be a decision bringing him back so early, and I hope I'm wrong. That could come back to haunt the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I generally don't like to back starting quarterbacks in the first game returning from injury.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Yeah, we were talking last night when we were deciding our super contest plays, and like we both agreed that if we took the Vikings, we'd rather have Jordan Love play, which sounds like counterintuitive, but really he may not be 100%. And they even said that that they may mix in Malik Willis at times. And I kind of wonder if Matt LaFleur is just trolling everyone. And like he said, Jordan Love's going to be active. He didn't say he's going to start. He just said he's going to be active. So I wonder if Willis is going to start and like Jordan Love's just going to be dressed and just standing on the sideline and maybe just serving as like an emergency quarterback or something. Like I could see that happening, and just like LaFleur just like fooling the Vikings, just because maybe he thinks he needs an edge against his team. That's been so oppressive. So
I got a great idea.
Let's hear it. What is it?
Start Malik Willis in DFS tomorrow.
I mean, what
if because everyone's going to be like, oh, Jordan Love, or no one's going to start him, and then you're right, LaFleur is trolling, and now it's like, and Malik Willis has the game. It'll be his coming out party, and then you're going to win a contest, and you'll have me to thank. You'll come back to the Walter Football After Dark show and be like, thanks, Quacky.
Well, I mean, if he's announced as the starter, I don't mind the play, but like, I don't know. I mean, we'll find out like during pregame warmups, I'm sure. Well, I mean, maybe not necessarily, but like, I think there's a decent chance we will find out. So, you're right. Like, people aren't going to play him, and it's not a great matchup either. That's the problem here. Like, Minnesota is like legitimately good on defense, and I like Brian Flores. I think can confuse Malik Willis like pretty well. Although Willis running kind of negates that a little bit, but still. I do think I like Minnesota here, and I see like first of all, it says public dog. He's absolutely right. This is a public dog. Minnesota's getting a ton of money, and that's it's like the main reason I'm not going to bet Minnesota. Just going to pick them for office pool purposes, but I just think this is a confusing game. I think there's so many variables, and we don't even know if Minnesota's like legit yet. I think they are, but they may not be. Like their carriage might turn into a pumpkin at some point. So
see now, I guess I don't really have a pick for this one because now I'm going back the other way. Because originally, on our call last night, I like Green Bay, and then you guys talking to you and Aton, I was like, well, I guess maybe I'm leaning towards Minnesota. Now I'm going back the other way because I don't like the public dog either here, and I don't know. I think I'll just stay away from this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Matthias and Vikings easy. Could be, man.
Nothing's easy in handicapping. However, it looks like first to go 12-3 in the contest.
Hey, congrats! That's awesome.
Great start. Good luck. Hope that continues and you take home the top prize. That's awesome. Bagley and let's say we finish second. Like first and goal can finish first because he's ahead of us. We finish second. Bagley says if you want to make money on Love not playing, just buy his passing yards on there. I think that's a great idea actually. I don't know if that's available at sportsbooks. I haven't checked. It wasn't last night, but maybe it is. Maybe it will be. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Buy it down if you can. Yeah, I think that's a smart thing to do. All right, let's go to Bengals Panthers cat fight here. In week 4. I knew that'd get a laugh at you.
Meow. Yeah, the cat. The jungle, the rumble in the jungle.
People are like, why are these guys laughing at this? You want to
yeah. No, you guys love it when like the Falcons and the Ravens play like, oh, Battle of the Birds. You know, they always they're like Eagles and Seahawks. It's the Battle of the Birds out here in Seattle. It's like, oh God, they should have an over/under on like a live over/under on like how many times they're going to say Battle of the Birds during the broadcast. Like, oh, give it a break. So yeah, this is Battle of the Cats.
Yes. Cat fight here.
Cat fight.
Week 4 cat fight. And then there's like I guess there's a negative.
Someone's going to say that. Someone's definitely going to say that.
Yeah, it's like a negative connotation that like for women. So like, yeah, I personally don't care. But like people on the national TV, like they have like, I don't know, they're more uptight and they don't want to upset anyone, of course. So I don't know if they're going to say it. Maybe they'll say Battle of the Cats or something. They won't say. We'll say Cats. Yeah, exactly. No, this is my top play. I love the Bengals. Joe Burrow coming off 3 losses in a row, and really, I mean, there was a fumble away from beating the Chiefs in week 2, and they made so many mistakes against the Patriots in week 1. Despite being not focused at all and all the mistakes they made, they almost won the game. So like they could be 2-1 in an alternate universe, and no one would be trashing them at all. But they are 0-3. this is do or die for them. Like there's no coming back from 0-4. But 0-3 is still possible. And we've seen this from them before. Last year, they got trashed by Tennessee. They came back at Arizona. Everyone loved the Cardinals. And they ended up destroying the Cardinals. The year before, they lost to Cooper Rush. And then everyone was like trashing them. And then the next week they played the Jets, they destroyed them. So they've had a habit of just bouncing back against bad teams. And the Panthers are a bad team. Like, and they strengthened their offense this offseason with Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, like two talented inside offensive linemen. But Damian Lewis is going to be out. Robert Hunt is questionable right now, and so is Deontay Johnson. So like all the offensive stars they added in the offseason just may not play. Joe Burrow coming off a loss, 15-7 against the spread. Again, like you want to bet on these good quarterbacks off a loss. They're going to be at their best. And this line is short of what it really should be. I mean, just like think about the history of these NFC South teams playing outside the division. It's just terrible. Ever since that division like started struggling with Tom Brady left, like this division in non-divisional games, like they are horrible. And like it really, this line should be like 7. I think that's what the advanced spread was, if I'm correct. The advanced spread was Cincinnati -7. So this line moved 2.5 points. Like for what? Like it just doesn't make any sense. So I love Cincinnati here, and the player prop Jamar Chase over 71.5 receiving yards. J.C. Horn, the Panthers cornerbacks really struggled this year, and like I said, Burrow's going to play his best, so that means Chase should be involved. So give me everything Bengals here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like the Bengals too, for reasons that would only really echo yours for the most part. But I do want to bring up something that you and Eitan had mentioned yesterday. If for those of you maybe, and I agree with what y'all said, is that for anyone kind of working the Andy Dalton revenge game angle, what would you say? He's already played against them previously, and he's how many years has it been since he's been there? It's been some time.
Well, I mean, Joe Burrow got there in 2020, so
yeah,
it's been
at
least
so
4 or 5 years.
So I'm not going to put that much stock into that. You know, what if it could be like, remember when Cam? I mean, I'm not comparing. Wow, they were the same class though. I'm not comparing Andy Dalton to Cam Newton, but like remember Cam Newton came back for the Panthers that game and they won, and the next week, who did they play? And everyone was on the Panthers.
It was the Redskins they played.
Okay.
Yeah, the Redskins beat them. That was a great one. We had Washington. We had some questions here. Dortch or Jacoby? I think with Trey McBride out, I think you want to go Dortch. You know, he doesn't have huge upside, but still, like, I think he's a good option this week, especially against Washington secondary, which is the worst in the NFL. Ellen DeGeneres -4.5. I would say I would go with I think he's like Eminem or I think Ellen DeGeneres is probably better, but I don't know. I make fun of him for having the Eminem haircut, Joe Burrow. I don't know what he's. I saw some tweet. I don't know who said it, but it might have been Antonio Brown. I think it was Antonio Brown. He said Joe Burrow is winless since he transitioned to lesbian. I love Antonio Brown's best. But Vikings will go 17-0 this year. Called it before the year started. John's on a roll here. 14 more wins to go.
Good work there, John.
Yes. Fields plus Najee or Trevor Lawrence plus Kirk. I like Fields. I don't know. I think I'd go Fields and Najee. I hate Trevor Lawrence. There might be garbage time, but there should have been garbage time last week, and he didn't do anything. Like he just seems so lost right now. Christian Kirk wasn't involved before last week, and then he was, but that was garbage time. Najee Harris is a good matchup. I think he could be over-owned in fantasy, so I would avoid him. But by the way, Roshan Johnson's 4,100 on DraftKings, just like automatic lock. Like I even like I don't know how he fails because he's going to catch like 3, 4, 5 passes, and that'll just get him there automatically. I don't know. Like usually there's. I don't even know if he's gonna be chalk. Like I don't know if like people caught on to that because like the Bears said that Roshan Johnson is gonna get more work. So anyway, Pittsburgh defense or Jets defense. I think Pittsburgh defense because the problem is with the Jets defense is that Bo Nix throws so many checkdowns and scrambles. So like it's tough to to force him into turnovers and to sack him, just because he can run out of sacks and he's not going to throw like crazy passes. He's just going to keep it safe. So I definitely would take Steelers D, despite liking the Colts. John says, now that Bryce Young isn't starting, you're betting the opposite team.
Yes, that's correct, John.
that's how we roll. Yeah, if it was Bryce Young, we would be all over. No, I mean, even if it was Bryce Young, we would be on Cincinnati this week.
It doesn't have to make sense. We're beautiful.
That's right. That's what counts.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Burrow revenge game versus.
I was going to say something else, though. What were we talking? No, man. We're talking about fantasy real quick. Start Bo Nix, man.
Oh, my God. Why? There's so many good options this week.
Dude, start Bo Nix.
You can start Kyler Murray or Jaden Daniels or Andy Dalton, super cheap.
No, don't start Jaden Daniels. Start Bo Nix.
Oh, my God.
He's going to run wild, man.
You can start Justin Fields. CJ Stroud's a great option. Joe Burrow's a great option this week. Like, there's so many quarterbacks who can score 30 points this week. Like, Bo Nix has no chance of scoring 30. I think you need a 30. Man. I think you need a 30-point score at quarterback this week because I think you need a 30-point score. I think you need to play Brock Bowers or Dallas Goedert at tight end, like preferably. Bowers.
I was going to say Bowers is going to be, I would imagine, highly owned.
Yeah, except Goddard is going to get a lot of ownership too, so it might be split that way. Bo Nix throws more picks than an angry black barber. Nice.
No, man, Bo Nix is the. I'm telling you, I started him I cashed in a lineup. I had him starting last week. Mm-hmm. I like Bo Nix. He's gonna crush it, man. And then you're gonna come back next week and be like, hey, should have started Bo.
I just don't think he has the upside to win a line. It's a tough matchup anyway. Flex spot PPR McLaurin versus Robinson. Daniels is my quarterback, so I think you go McLaurin. I know Arizona's good against the deep ball, but still, I guess it's like negative correlation with Robinson. Although, I mean, with Eckler out, Robinson's going to catch more passes in his PPR. So Arizona's weaker against the run than the pass. It's pretty close. It seems weird because McLaurin just correlates so well with Daniels, but I think the best play might actually be Robinson. Now that I think about it, so. It's a tough one. I think I would go with Robinson. Let's see. There are 4 games in the noon slate. How many players should I have? 2 or 3 or 4? No stacks. There are 4 games in the noon slate. What do you mean 4 games in the noon slate?
Must be Central Time.
But there are more than 4 games.
Yeah,
in the news
yeah.
Slate. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not okay. You have to explain. I don't know what you
Maybe
mean.
he means 4 games that he likes in the noon slate.
There's 4 games in the afternoon slate.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so how many players?
You're like talking about time zones and stuff.
Yeah. So afternoon slate. I actually haven't done my afternoon slate lineup yet, which I'm going to do later tonight. How many players should I have? 2, 3, or 4? I don't know what you mean by 2, 3, or 4.
Stacks of 2, 3, or 4, maybe.
Maybe okay. Maybe you mean like how many max players per team? I guess that's what you mean. So I mean, yeah, you could have your quarterback plus 3 on a 4-game slate. I think that's perfectly fine. In the Monday night slate, my lineup is this sounds ugly, but my quarterback is Will Levis, and I'm stacking him with Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tony Pollard. This is what I'm doing for Monday night slate. It sounds horrible. It actually reminds me of what I did when I won the GPP in the week 2 Monday night slate last year. Remember the 2 games were Carolina, New Orleans, and Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and like everyone played Derek Carr or they played Deshaun Watson, I think. And I played Bryce Young, and like Bryce Young was the lowest owned of all 4 quarterbacks, and he was in my lineup as the winning lineup as my quarterback because none of the quarterbacks scored well. Like he wasn't even the highest scoring quarterback, but like Derek Carr scored like 13, and like Watson scored like 11, and Kenny Pickett scored like 10, and like Bryce Young also scored like 11. Like he wasn't the top scorer, but like it didn't matter because he was the cheapest guy. And like I'm just looking at the Monday night slate. You have Jared Goff, who he's not been great this year. And you have Geno Smith, who has a good matchup, but I don't know. I just like he could be the winning quarterback, but he's going to be super highly owned. I don't know if he has like immense upside. And then the other game you have whichever quarterback the Dolphins are going to start. It's probably Tyler Huntley, and then you have Will Levis, who's the cheapest quarterback by far. And I'm like, I'm just going to play Will Levis. He has a good matchup. Jalen Ramsey's like toast. And Will Levis has made some good throws. Like he's sabotaged the wins in the first 2 weeks, but he has made some good throws, and I think like he has some upside here. So I'm just gonna start him and like hope that none of the other three go nuts. And if they're all relatively close, then Will Levis is probably going to be the winning quarterback because he's so much cheaper than the other guys. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing for the Monday night slate. But and he allows you to play all the top guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and DK Metcalf. So anyway, 3 games, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Bo. Yeah, I mean it's 1.3 per game. I don't know. It's not like I feel like he's not prone to throwing a lot of interceptions because he throws a lot of short passes. Like I don't know. He's not like he doesn't project as like a turnover machine. Like
When you say Bo, you mean Bo Nix or Bo Callahan?
Bo knows turnovers.
Priorities for the noon slate.
I mean, again, I'm not sure what you mean 2, 3, or 4. It's an 11-game slate. How many players are you targeting from the later afternoon games in your lineup? I see. I don't like. It doesn't really matter to me how many guys I have in the late in the later games. Like it just the only thing that matters is you put the guy in the latest game in your flex, so you can have more opportunities to change it out. But like it really doesn't matter. But I will say this, that like the most appealing game from an offensive perspective is Cardinals Bengals. So it's going to be hard to avoid that game, I think. So you're probably going to have 1 or 2 guys from that game at least. In my spy $100 spy lineup, I'm stacking Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison and Michael Wilson, and I'm running it back with Brian Robinson. So I have 4 guys in that game, and then I have Rashee Rice as well. So I have 5 guys in the 4:00 games in my lineup at the moment. But it doesn't matter. Like you don't need any guys. Like if you just pick the highest scorers and hopefully you win. Now, it might be good to have some like room for pivots, but like I wouldn't like prioritize that. I think like I wouldn't worry about it, but it's still something to consider. Like maybe having a pivot, but like if you don't have to get there, I don't think you need to. So.
You know what's really great to do? It's like say you have like maybe only like 2 or 3 players in the early games, and they all do really well, and you're already cashing, and you're just like, oh. Come on now, then the after, and a way you could do that this week. Just start a couple players. If you start Bo Nix at quarterback, I'm gonna make a lineup with Bo Nix, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna rub it right in your face, man. I'm gonna say I told you so.
Who do you even stack him with? Courtland Sutton? Who else?
Yeah, man.
Who else is he stacking with? Josh Reynolds?
Mims. Put Mims in there. Imagine Mims went off. Mims had like a Jonas Gray game
with his 9 snaps, offensive snaps per game.
He'll have 4 snaps, 4 touchdowns. Remember Jonas Gray on the Patriots? That was his name, right? Jonas Gray. That one Sunday. Was it Sunday night? Sunday night. He scored 4 touchdowns, and like everyone picked him up on fantasy, and like you never heard of him again. I don't say that snidely. Like,
yeah, he overslept practice, and then Belichick benched him, and that was it. It's kind of crazy. It's just like this guy goes nuts. It's like, you missed practice, you're out.
I wonder if he was in any DFS lineups. Because wait, that was 24. No. What year was that? 2016, maybe. Or no.
No, it was more.
Hang on now. I'll tell you what. I'm losing my mind. I gotta look it up now.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the next game while you look it up. The Rams at the Bears. I feel like this is the biggest coaching mismatch of the week. We have Sean McVay coaching against Matt Eberflus, who's just like a complete bozo, doesn't know when to onside kick it. It's like, oh, there's 2:01 left, and I have 1 timeout. Let me kick it off against a team that we can't stop the run against. Like, I wonder if we'll get the ball back. I don't like of course they didn't get the ball back. It's such an idiot. And then his offense coordinator calls 4 runs at the goal line when they spend 2 top 10 picks on the quarterback. Just absolutely like brilliant game planning here for the Bears. That said, like this Rams team is just a disaster with their injuries. I know they won last week, but like that was Trent Williams getting hurt, and like the Niners collapsed because of that. Like, yeah, I think people are quick to forget things that happened like 2 weeks ago rather than last week. And like, I'm willing to bet that people already forgot that the Rams got shellacked at Arizona, and like this could be another one. Like the only thing stopping me from betting the Bears is that like this is just a colossal coaching mismatch. So like, how often does Matt Eberflus beat Sean McVay by more than 3? I just like find that hard to believe, but I like, given all the injuries the Rams have, I don't know. I can't touch this game outside of the player prop that I like. This is my biggest player prop of the week. DeAndre Swift under 37.5 rushing yards. First of all, DeAndre Swift sucks. He hasn't gone over 30 rushing yards in a single game this year, and like his total's 37.5 here. And the Bears also said that Roschon Johnson is going to get more work. So, why is DeAndre Swift 37.5 rushing yards? Like, why is that his prop? It just seems like so outrageously high. Obviously, like he could break a long run, like with pure luck. But I don't see that happening. Like, again, he hasn't topped 30 rushing yards in a single game. So under 37.5 on DeAndre Swift. So what do you see in this game?
I'm not touching this one. I don't have the confidence to back Caleb Williams as a favorite just yet. I don't have a lot of analysis to add. I'm not going to touch this one. I'm kind of inclined to take the Rams, but I see the argument for the Bears too. I'm not going to touch this one. But I'd say the Rams here, but not interested at all. I can't back Caleb Williams as a favorite yet.
Yeah, first of all, says don't overthink it. I don't know, man. This Bears team sucks. Their coaching staff sucks. Like, I don't know. Maybe they do it, but like they were getting destroyed by Tennessee. Like they shouldn't have any wins right now at all. They got Tennessee had double the yardage as the Bears in Chicago, and then week 2 the Texans outgained them by 120 yards or something. And that game stays close just randomly just because of stupid mistakes by the Texans. And then last week, the Bears, they finally had their best game, but they still lose to the Colts, who are just so banged up. And it says a contest play. So I wish you luck. I don't have a play on this one. I assume you got -2.5. Maybe I should assume, but I think you did probably. So, yeah, let me know. But I'm not picking anything from a hat over here. Yeah, I think this is just such a big coaching mismatch. John asking, why in the world did the Bears give Swift a 3-year, $24 million contract? Yeah, this is not hindsight being 50-50, as Cam Newton once said. Like, this is a grade. This is a grade I think I gave the Bears an F or maybe a D when they signed DeAndre Swift. There's probably an F, a million, just because like it didn't make any sense. Like DeAndre Swift was not good for the Eagles. He's very injury prone. And you had such a great opportunity to bolster the offensive line, to improve the defense, and they signed DeAndre Swift. It's so stupid. It was so, I don't know. I just can't say bad things about it. So, yeah, let's get to the next game. Right. So you're Denver Broncos.
Oh yeah.
Jets were favored by 8 here on Friday night. I want to see if the line moved. It's still 8. Okay. So the Jets are in a bad spot here. They are coming off a national TV win against the divisional opponent, and next week they play at London. Big favorites going into London are like 12-18 against the spread. So, which makes sense because they have to prepare for traveling overseas and stuff like that. And this is not like the Jaguars who do it all the time. Like, this is a rare occasion for the Jets. And like, really, why would they worry about Denver here? I know Denver just came off a big win against the Buccaneers, but I don't know. It's like, yeah, the Jets have had one good win so far this year. Like, they got destroyed by the Niners in week 1. In week 2, if it wasn't for a block punt touchdown, they probably would have lost to the Titans, who outgained them in that game. And yeah, they crushed the Patriots last week. The Patriots were exhausted coming off overtime. So I don't know. I'm not really eager to buy in on the Jets quite yet. They might be a lot better in the future, but not yet. So yeah, I like Denver +8. I think this is a great number here. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I like Denver too. Hey, before we get into that though, you know how they say JETS, 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 that cheer? Why
Yeah.
did they never, for like it's the New York Jets? Why not do that for the New York Mets? METS, 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 Mets. You didn't think anyone ever thought of that? I mean, I'm not saying that idea is original to me, but I think I've never heard anyone else but me say it.
Um,
It's a matter of great concern.
I mean, if there are any Mets fans or Nets fans who don't say NETS, Nets, I don't. Maybe you guys can tell us, or maybe Mets fans are so sophisticated that they don't need to prove they can spell. I don't know. It is quite the question. I don't know the answer to
that. Yeah, I don't. I'd like to know. So if anyone has ever heard of that anywhere else, let us know.
Quacky definitely backing his favorite, Bodix.
That was good.
It's not quite Bo. There's an L in there. I didn't want to like trigger any bands here. Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. Oh, that was last year though. Hackett got his revenge last year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like how many times can you get revenge? Although like there was, I think I told you about the revenge. Did I tell you about the revenge TV show? I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I'm not sure I have.
So this show, it was on ABC a long, like maybe 10, 12 years ago. The first season was awesome. It's about this girl who grew up fatherless because her dad used to work for this big company, like Grayson. It was called Grayson Global, and they made him the fall guy for like I don't know, something bad happened. Like they made him the fall guy, and then they killed him in prison because like they were afraid that he was going to talk and out them. So he got killed. But he left this girl, his daughter, like a huge fortune that he had just from working at the company. And so the girl, like, she finds out like her dad got set up and everything, like through like he left her a letter, like a secret, like no one knew about it. And so she finds out about this, and she wants to get she grows up like, and she wants to get revenge, and like her whole entire life goal is like getting revenge on these people, and like just like becoming super smart and everything, like trying to like infiltrate them. And so she buys the house next door. And she like no one knows who she is. Like they don't know she's the daughter of that guy. So like the entire show is just her trying to infiltrate this family and this company, and like trying to take them down one by one. And it was the first season was so good. Like she pretends to fall in love with the son of the leader of the president of the company. And like she eventually like even marries him, and like it's like just based on revenge, because like she wants to like hurt him and the rest of the family. It like the first season was phenomenal, and the reason I bring this up is like how many times can you get revenge? Because season 2 onward, the show got so bad. Like she became like, for some reason in season 2 she became like a samurai for some reason. Like she was training with a samurai, and like this is so stupid. Like why are you gonna like know these ninja skills? Like it doesn't make any sense. And like it's like, yeah, you can only get revenge so many times, and like Hackett got his revenge. Like this is season 2 already for Hackett. Like he's not going to become a samurai. This is stupid. Like he already got his revenge. So I'm not into that storyline. So but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you were, didn't you say you had something on this game? You because I already said my piece on this game.
Yeah, no, I like Denver. We're talking about the J. That's right, the cheer. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I like the Broncos here. Obviously, I think you should start Bo Nix, but I don't know. I mean, I don't have a strong feeling too much either way here. I'd probably side with Denver, but yeah, I honestly, this is one game I don't have too strong of a feeling on. But I do wonder about that cheer. So
okay, I'm surprised you don't like the Broncos here. They're your team.
Yeah.
I thought you would like them a lot here.
I do like them, but I'm probably going to stay away because, again, like this is kind of like one of those games where like now I'm starting to second get. Like it seems like most of the time like that it would come through, but I feel like these picks, the way like they, you get that feeling. Mm-hmm. Like they haven't been coming through, kind of like we were discussing last night. So that probably makes no sense to the listeners at home. So just know it makes sense in my mind. But yeah, I'll probably lay off this one. But I do like Denver here.
Okay. John likes both Jets running backs in this game to score a touchdown. I wonder if you could parlay that and get a good payout. I can see it happening. First of all, says Quacky got cracked in that event tonight.
Would you expect anything less there, first and goal? Come on
right.
now.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, what do you think? What kind of programming do you think this is?
Okay, so here's the answer. Probably because the Jets have been horrible and they don't want the bad karma. That's the right answer. There you go. First of all, says Walt, if you knew as much about TV shows as you do football, you wouldn't have to do these podcasts. Well, first of all, I don't have to do these podcasts.
Yeah, right.
I like it. I don't know.
You're like, we gotta go on the air tonight, man.
I know. I don't like. We like. I don't know. I like doing the show. I don't. No one's making me do it. It's not like someone's pointing a gun in my head.
Yeah, it's like if we don't do a show tonight, we're gonna lose every. No one's gonna read the site.
Yeah, I always say that we make nothing off YouTube ads. So I don't know. I like doing the show and interacting with you guys. It's like
it's so much fun. We have a great time with the Walter football family here.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And I whenever I don't do the show, because like sometimes I can't, like Friday nights I can't because we do our call. Monday nights I can't because I'm preparing for the picks, and then Sunday just a crazy day. Like those days, I actually like miss not going live. Like I think it's a lot of fun.
No, same here. And I love the banter with all of you too. You know, of course, with you, Walter. I mean, we've been doing it for 20 years now. But I love bantering with all of you. It's always great fun. So keep on.
I'm here to crack jokes and pick winners. Yeah,
there you go. That's what we're here. Yeah.
I know you're joking. I knew you were joking. I think it's funny.
Yeah, no, we love it. First and goal. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah. So, I do love my random TV shows though. I'll say that.
Same, yeah.
I would recommend watching Revenge season 1 and then just stopping after season 1 because it just got like so bad after. But season 1 was really good. Favorite low owned quarterback. You'll have to give me a list of low owned quarterbacks, okay? Because I don't really know ownership. Like I don't play in that game. Like where what I do on DraftKings, I play the $100 spy. It's a single entry, and they're depending on the contest, they're either 4,000 people or 2,000 people. And then I throw that into the Millie contest just in case, and I like make one swap. But like I'm not trying to outscore 700,000 people or 300,000 people or however much it is. I'm only trying to outscore 4,000 people. So I personally don't care about ownership, but like I said, I didn't even look at ownership this week. So if you tell me, some names here: Fields, Lawrence, Caleb. I don't mind Caleb Williams this week because the Rams' defense is so bad, and he just had his best matchup. He just had his best performance. Now he has a really good matchup. He gets Keenan Allen back this week, probably. I don't know if he's going to be 100%. Actually, considered Caleb Williams in another $100 spy. Like stacking Williams with I like Rome Odunze as the best. Like Rome Odunze, but he doesn't have good chemistry with DJ Moore. And Allen may not be 100%. And like if Allen comes back, then Cole Kmet's gonna be limited. So if I made a Caleb Williams lineup, I think I'd stack him with Odunze and Roschon Johnson because I like the quarterback, running back, receiver stack because a lot of people don't do it. And our friend Mike almost won $1 million with that, where he had Carson Wentz with Miles Sanders and was Alshon Jeffrey, I think. That was the year. That was when he famously went from first to third because of a blocked extra point. Yeah, he was winning $1 million. He's on a plane and he saw it drop to 40,000. It said like safety, and he thought it was just an error. And then he got off the plane and then he saw it was real. And so he lost a chance to win $960,000. So brutal. And I had him on the show, and he was like a good sport about it. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I won 40 grand that I didn't have before. And I'm like, man, that still sucks, dude. That's like, you can pay off all your bills, 40K, but like $1 million is like life-changing money. So.
Right.
And then unless you blow it on AMC and BBIG.
You're asking about low-owned quarterbacks. I can think of one.
Yeah. We know.
let's keep it moving.
Here's a question from Quacky. Flex half PPR Walker playing Monday Night Football, Odunze or Addison. So you take it away here.
Oh, geez. Why are you asking me for? I mean, I appreciate the vote of confidence. I don't know if I'd say, I don't know, man. Your Vikings are rolling. Put Addison in there. I actually have him on my fantasy team. I was roped into a fantasy league this year. Maybe I'll throw him in there. I don't know, Matthias, and honestly, I wouldn't. I'm joking around about the Bo Nix thing. Like, I wouldn't like Walter is the. I'll tell you what DFS I'm pretty good at, and Walter can vouch. Like, I'm pretty good at hockey DFS.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
like I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not very good at like fantasy football, honestly, and I can't. I feel like I should be, but I don't know, man. With a body like this, you don't get the brains with it sometimes.
What I would recommend is Best Ball. I've talked about it a lot. The Best Ball drafts on DraftKings. It's like $20 right now, week 5 onward, and top prize is $20,000. So I think it's a lot of fun, and you don't have to do anything. All you do is draft, and that's it. Like, they just take care of the rest for you. They just put in the top scorers at each position each week. So I've had a lot of fun just drafting it, and it's like I think it's like a good exercise because I can see what the public is thinking, like the drafters. Like after Isaiah Likely's week 1, he was going in the 4th round. I was just like laughing. Like, come on, guys! Like, you're taking Isaiah Likely in the 4th round, just like overreacting. I think it's just like it just shows me or reinforced. I already knew this, but it reinforced like how people are so willing to overreact to one thing they saw, and it's like, wow, like you spent $20. The $20 may not be a lot to these people, but someone spent like real money on a draft, and they drafted Isaiah Likely in the 4th round just based on one game. It's like, come on. And it just you can use this anywhere in any facet of life, like even like betting football games, stock market, like real estate. Like just wait for people to overreact and take advantage of it. It's I don't know. I think the best ball drafts are good EV. So yeah,
I'm with it.
Brendan says I made a ton of money on AMC. I congratulate you. I did not get out at the top. I sold a little bit at the top, but I still kept most of my shares. And I sold after the ape disaster and after more dilution. I did not sell at the bottom though. I sold and it kept going down. So I did not lose everything, but I did lose a substantial amount. It wasn't like I actually did not lose that much on AMC. But I lost the potential to make a crap ton on AMC. Like there's one day I woke up and I saw like the amount of money in my account. Like when I saw at AMC, I'm like, holy crap! I was like, maybe I should sell. And I was like the problem was like I sold GameStop. I bought GameStop at like $5 and it went to 105. I actually went to 150. Then it went down to 105, and I sold at 105. And then 3 days later, it went to 480. And like that really hurt me because I'm like, what if I sell AMC at 60 and it goes to 200? I was like, I'll feel really bad about that. And so I kept it. And like I got burned both times. I was wrong both times.
I really had a good score with AMC. I mean, on several occasions I got out and in like almost the perfect times. I was incredibly lucky.
Yes.
But then that was thanks to you too. So.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I'd like to reinforce this. Over the summer, I made a video about covered calls, and like the mirror of that is cash secured puts. I didn't go over that in the video, but I strongly recommend covered calls and cash secured puts. It's so much safer than just buying stocks, and it's like a great way to make weekly income. I've been doing that on GameStop, and it just it's just been so crazy. Just the income it produces on a weekly basis. Like I like if you guys don't know about cash secured puts and covered calls, I highly recommend just looking into it. If you have anything in the stock market. Quacky takes likes Bo Nix.
That's right, it, baby.
Yeah. Do you think Rachaad White plays? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he will just to ruin things for everyone. He sucks anyway. Like
ruin things for everyone.
I assume this is for Bucky Irving. But Bucky Irving's banged up too. So I don't know. He's losing touches to Irving anyway. He had 6 carries compared to 9 for Irving last week. I don't like Rachaad White at all. I think he's terrible. At least as a runner, he's a good pass catcher. So Brandon, speaking the truth here, CEO Adam Aaron was a scumbag and revealed his plans. Is a scumbag, I would say, because he's still a CEO. Diluted everyone to oblivion. So this is I hate Adam Aaron. I strongly hate him. Like he is such a con artist. Like he kind of like made everyone hold on to their shares. He sold his shares. Now it was a quote planned, but that's BS. He never really bought back in when it went down. Like unlike Ryan Cohen, who bought more shares quite frequently. And then he diluted at the bottom on multiple occasions. Now, like, I know that they need money, but he could have diluted at a higher price, and like he just waited till it reached the bottom. Like, he's either an idiot or he just hates his investors, or it could be both. I was talking to my accountant about it, and I was like, yeah, I lost a little on AMC, and he's like, isn't that Adam Aaron, the CEO? I'm like, yeah, and he's like, oh, that guy's such a joke. He was his president of the Sixers, and he like ruined that team. So yeah, everywhere Adam Aaron goes, just like disaster follows, and he's just he's not just a horrible CEO, he's like a horrible person too. So yeah, don't touch AMC. They still have a ton of debt. Make sure if you do this cover call stuff or cash secure puts, make sure you're in a company that's profitable. GameStop is profitable, so just do that, because if they're not profitable, then they're going to dilute, because they'd have to dilute because they're in debt. So you just make sure you do that. Cash secured puts. So covered calls is when you have a stock and then you sell calls. So like if you have a stock and the stock is like $21 and you sell a covered call at 23, you'd have to sell if the stock gets 23. Cash secured puts is the opposite. Like if you don't have a stock, let's just say like GameStop right now is 22.50, for example. If you sell a cash secured put that's $22 strike price, you'll be forced to buy the 100 shares or however many shares for contracts. Like if you have 5 contracts, you have to buy 500 shares. Like you'll be forced to buy the shares if the stock price goes below the strike price. So if you buy $22, if you sell $22 cash secured puts on GameStop and the stock price goes to like $21.70, you'll have to buy at 22. But that sounds bad, but like think about it this way: like you already like the stock, and the stock's $22.50 right now. So you could have bought it $22.50. Instead, you bought it 22, and you made the premiums on it. So like the premiums are pretty high. I think on a $22 strike price, I think they're like 51 cents right now, which is $51 because you have to multiply by 100. So yeah, I mean it's like the I think it turns out to be. I guess I should do this right now. So 51 times if you do this every week, it's actually 120% return on the year, which is kind of insane. Now I know the premiums aren't going to be the same all the time, but it's just crazy how much money there can be made on for income on these cash secured puts and cover calls. So it's basically like a wheel. Like if you don't have the stock, if you don't have the shares, you do cash secured puts first, and then when you get a sign, then you do cover calls, and then when you lose your shares, you do cash secured puts again. So it's just like this wheel that keeps going. That's like just nonstop income. It just I strongly like I said, I strongly recommend getting into it. Mixon back tomorrow, yeah, but at what availability? Like, is it gonna be 100%? I don't know. So like that's the issue. It's kind of hard to play him. I don't know how much of a workload he's gonna have. It's just tough. And then try unload Hubbard with Brooks coming back soon. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if Brooks is going to be that effective coming off the torn ACL, and I don't think he's going to get the full workload, but like he'll at least take some carries away. I think at least like he's going to take Miles Sanders' workload at the very least. Now he could eat into Hubbard's workload, especially later in the year, but like right away, I think like he's due to back week 5. I think like weeks 5, 6, 7. I think Hubbard's still going to handle most of the workload. But like week 8, 9, 10, I think that's when Brooks may take over. But I don't even know if that's going to be the case. Like what if he's not effective coming off the torn ACL, which is very possible.
I personally believe the Panthers are going to be throwing a lot in this game for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I think so too. And the Redskins couldn't run on the Bengals last week for what it's worth. So maybe I don't know. I think you could do it as long as you're getting fair value. Just don't like panic sell them low. Stone Pop Store said, "Thanks, Walt. Looking forward into it." Yeah, definitely check out videos and cash secure puts, and then cover calls. It's this great wheel effect. I strongly recommend it. Brandon said, "Can't forget September 18th, 2007, Fed cut rates by a half. September 18th, 2024, Fed cut rates by 50%. Yeah, repeat of 2008 incoming." Maybe, yeah. I've seen that. I saw someone tweet that. I think it was Unusual Whales. I mean, we're not in a good economic situation. We're really not. But like everything's like kept afloat because like the stock market's all time high because the money is not worth anything, and so like the money like the stocks in comparison are just going up. So I don't know if there's gonna be a stock market crash, a complete crash. I don't think it's gonna be like 2008. I think there might be. I think like during the election, especially if there's uncertainty with who wins, because there will be. Like they're not going to count all the votes because they're going to they're going to need to see how many fake votes they need in certain states. So I like when there's uncertainty, that's when people will sell. Like they panic sell. So it could be a situation where the stock market goes down considerably, but I don't think it's going to be a crash, at least not yet. Let's see. Love Brock Bowers tomorrow. Yeah, me too. I love Brock Bowers. You'll see. I have his prop.
As do I.
So you're the one. What is what is that? I don't know. Well, John, let us know what that means. Eagles Buccaneers. So no AJ Brown, no Devontae Smith. Lane Johnson, I think, is still in the air, but probably not going to play. So I know Aton loves the Eagles for what it's worth. He has them on the card with me. I could go either way in this game. I really don't know what to make of it. I don't know how the Eagles are going to play with all their top guys out. They lost to Tampa last year with all their top guys out, at least with AJ Brown out. At least like they still had Devontae Smith, but now they only have Devontae Smith, and they may not have Lane Johnson. And the Buccaneers, we'll see if Vita Vea can play because he's questionable. So I really don't have much on this game. I could really see this going either way. This line is kind of short. I'll say, though, that Jalen Hurts in his career is 7-14 against the spread as a road favorite, but it's only 1.5. It's kind of like the Tomlin thing. Like if he's favored by more than 3, I'd be concerned. But it's just a short favorite. All he really needs to do is win. And again, this is NFC South team playing outside of the division, which I'm more than happy to fade. But if the Eagles had their players, their key players, I'd bet them, but they don't. So what are your thoughts here?
Remember those commercials back in the day with the United Way with Derek Brooks?
Yeah.
The bus-loaded kids like, who's your favorite player? Mr. Derek Brooks. Yeah. I don't know why. I was just thinking, I love that commercial. Man, that was at least 20 years. Yeah, that was at least 20 years ago. Holy cow. I like the Eagles here too. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Tampa Bay did beat Detroit, but I really don't. I mean, they did not look very good at all against Denver. I mean, state the obvious, against the Broncos. What does that tell you? So take that. And I'm still of the belief that the Eagles are going to be very good this year. I know they've got some injuries, but I really like them in this spot. God, and it can't get any worse than the last time they played there in the playoffs. Holy cow. I feel like this is like the 18th time we've revenge, another revenge angle. Everyone's out for revenge every week. It's just you got to look for it, I guess.
Yes.
But I think there's maybe something to that as well. But I mean, I think they're the far superior team. So it's like I mean, what are the chances they win by 1? Like if they win, they're going to cover, more or less. So I don't see them losing this game. So.
I think the chances of them winning by 1 is like 4%, if I remember correctly, or maybe it's like actually you probably have to have it, so it's like 2%. Like the result, like the chances of a game landing on 1, I think is like 4.5%. I think, if I remember correctly. So yeah, you divide by half, so it's like 2.3%. So to answer your question, a rhetorical question that you did not expect me to answer. Jay Garcia, Myers, or Ayak tomorrow? Ayak for sure. I think Ayak's going to work himself into playing shape. Like I feel like this was his preseason because like he came back from this holdout, and so he had 3 games, which is how long the preseason is. So like this would be his week 1. So I like him, and the Patriots have such a pass funnel defense. They're great against the run. They can't stop the pass at all. So I play him. John says Paris Campbell and John Ross are the Eagles practice squad call-ups. That's it's pretty rough. Don't forget though, they have Jahan Dotson. So it's there could be some Jahan Dotson magic happening. It's actually going to be like all Barkley and Goddard. So if you play Hurts, just stack them with Barkley and Goddard, I guess. Don't bother with the other bums. Eagles 1, 2, and 3 receivers are out. It's a rough scene here in Philly.
I still like him. I don't know. I still really like him here.
Yeah, I'm very, very neutral to the game. All right, so late afternoon games. As we said before, there are four of them. The first one is the game I was talking about before. It's going to be the highest scoring, probably. Redskins at the Cardinals. Lines Cardinals -3.5. I think this line is like begging the public to take the Redskins. It's like, oh, hey, Redskins just won Monday Night Football. They looked awesome. Here, take them at +3.5, right? Like, how are they not going to keep it close or win? I think Arizona's gotten a lot of sharp money. I hate laying -3.5. It's the worst spread in football. If you blindly bet, if you blindly bet +3.5, like over the past 2 decades, you would win money. Like it's just that bad of a spread is -3.5. So I always say that like you need a good reason to bet the -3.5. And like, frankly, I don't really see a good reason to bet Arizona. Like, I don't think Washington's a good side, but I don't know. Like, Arizona doesn't strike me as a great team. They're good. They have a good offense at least, but their defense kind of sucks. So I don't know. I feel like Jane Daniels could get a backdoor cover here. I'd be very worried about that if I were betting Arizona. I do like Greg with Dortch over 3.5 receptions. I mentioned Dortch earlier. Trey McBride is out, so Dortch is going to handle all the underneath stuff. I think that helps him out a lot. Marvin Harrison Jr. also has some sort of quad injury. Now he's going to play, but what if he's like knocked out of the game because of that quad injury? Like Dortch is going to get even more of a workload here. So Dortch over 3.5 receptions is the only bet I made on this game. What are your thoughts here?
Oh, I like the Cardinals. I probably like 2 or 3 times I was scrolling across social media in the past week and this past week, and I saw that Bengals and Washington football team game. It was the only game that didn't have what was it, a turnover or a
a turnover or
a play
punt,
or a punt. Yeah. Sorry, I'm
punt,
drawing a blank over here. Yeah, it didn't have a turnover or a punt. So it's like I don't know, like, and while that's really awesome, like, are they going to on a short week go like travel across the country 2 time zones over and like have like I don't see them having a repeat performance of that. Like I think they're due for a letdown, and we've seen this Cardinals team like look pretty decent. Remember, like in week 1, like weren't they at, what was it, 17-3 against the Bills? Like they still did cover that game. I can't believe they didn't win, but I don't know. I just think it's going to be like a tough act. Like I said, especially on a short week. I think Washington, like the 3.5 makes Washington look easy here, but I think and sure your point there with the backdoor cover is noted as well, but I don't know. I really like Arizona here, so. I'll go with them. They were on our card, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them a good bit. Clearly.
Okay. I don't like Washington, so I think you could be on the right side here. It just I hate the 3.5. Like I really do. Like the other team, the -3.5 team would have to be like a lot better than the +3.5 team. I don't think that's the case here. Like I know Arizona's defense, as bad as it is, it's still better than Washington's defense, which like has the worst secondary in the NFL, which is why I'm on Kyler Murray in my $100 SPY lineup. So I just had issues like who to stack him with. Like I came up with Wilson because he had a high target share last week, especially when McBride got hurt. But I think like Dortch could also have a big game, which is why I'm betting him. So I don't know if I should go Wilson or Dortch. It's kind of like torn on that. But anyway, next game is Patriots at 49ers. There's a lot of injuries in this game. Now George Kittle is going to come back, but we don't know if he's going to be 100%. Deebo Samuel is out again, or he's doubtful at least. Trent Williams picked up a toe injury, and he missed Friday's practice. So if he's not in there, I like the Patriots as bad as they are. Like the Niners without Trent Williams, like they should not be favored by double digits. The Niners also lost Javon Hargrave to IR. This is a team that's pretty banged up. So it's a tough pill to swallow to lay the 10.5, but it's also a tough pill to swallow to bet the Patriots. So I currently have no play on this game, but like I said, if Williams is out, I will be on the Patriots plus 10.5. So what are your thoughts here? I don't have any props. So what are your thoughts here?
2 stupid teams, but I'd take the Patriots, I guess. Like I don't know. I have absolutely no interest in this game. I hate both of these teams. I have nothing else to add. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Like you don't have to bet every game. I think that's what
Yeah.
Andy said on Tuesday. He's like, yeah, that's the great thing is that you don't have to bet every game. Stone Papa Smurf says absolutely love Trey Tucker over 3.5 receptions -110. I can see that hitting. I think I'd rather bet his yards than receptions, but yeah, I think both will hit. Kim McGee says Washington 2 weeks without a punt.
Well, I think that's what I meant to say then, because it's even more unlikely that they'll do it 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, they had the 7 field goals against the Giants who didn't have their kicker. It's still bitter about that one.
No, can't make an eagle. Like I say, the body like this, you don't get the brains with it here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't know
that. John says the only reason the Cardinals cover week 1 is because of the super new kickoff format. Yeah, they also lost Jonah Williams. Their offense kind of sputtered after that, so I think that played a factor too. But yeah, they did get lucky with that kickoff return. Although they did have possession, they could have scored on that possession. So I guess you never know. Dortch plus Steelers defense or Jacoby plus Steelers defense, or I guess just Dortch versus Jacoby. I think Jacoby has more of an upside. Like Dortch is like I like his floor is pretty high. Are they comparable on price? I guess I didn't look at Jacoby Myers' price on DraftKings, but I guess this may not be a DraftKings question. I guess that should be clear because Greg Dortch in DraftKings is 4,300. Jacoby is Jacoby Myers is 5,500. Okay, yeah, I was like, wow, like if they're both close in price, I love Jacoby, but no, Jacoby's $1,200 more. No, I would take Jacoby. I think his ceiling is much higher. Go Steelers D plus Steelers D.
That's yeah.
That's actually you on their Rainmakers, which John would dub enjoy your digital card game. In the showdowns, you could actually play the same defense 3 times. Because like what would happen was you would have like defensive players, like for example, if you had TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward, you could play like both players in the same lineup in showdown, and they would still count as Steeler defense. So like you could, and it was only a 4-player showdown, so you could actually play the same defense 3 times. And like some people did that, like if like the defense went nuts, like you had a good chance to win.
Sounds right up your alley, then, John.
Yeah, well, not anymore because Rainmakers is gone. It's I do really miss it. I really miss it. It was so fun. I guess best ball took its place though.
The Trenton Thunder missed you too, man.
Yeah, I haven't been there since. I've been at Samuel Palmieri Jr. Field since July. But I will be back. I will be back in April to place my draft bets because you can't bet on the draft in PA, so I'll have to go to Jersey. So it'll be a yearly or be an annual trip to the Trenton Thunder baseball stadium instead of weekly. But I do miss it. I actually don't miss it. It's like super annoying road trip. Anyway,
we should go to Vegas for the. I might go to Vegas for this year's draft, or for this upcoming draft. But I was like, you should come too. But you're like, I have to work on the site. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So my bubble got burst real quick.
I love this. John Sanders 311 super chat. Thanks, John. 50 or Steelers team PPR league.
Thank you, John Sanders.
I was gonna. Man, what do you think, Quack? Yeah, I think Steelers D. I think or
he's okay saying he meant Jets D or Steelers D.
Okay.
Okay, you're good. I noticed that. I was like, I thought maybe you were like reverse trolling. That's cool.
I would say I think Steelers D, but hey, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say. I don't know because I like the Colts too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, maybe it'll be a low scoring game. I don't know. Hard.
It could be 9-6 Colts, and the Steelers sack Richardson like 5 times or something. I don't know. Why don't you play on FanDuel? Turn 7K into 150K there last week. Wow,
if you did that, that's congratulations. That's really incredible.
I assume that was a high stakes contest you played. Congrats. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. Why are you asking us for advice if you can? No, Walter's good, not me. But congratulations. Okay, if that's awesome.
Yeah, I like DraftKings contests better. I like their I like PPR format more than half PPR. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't know. I'm just kind of like used to the PPR format because I don't play in any leagues, real fantasy leagues that are half PPR. It's all either PPR or standard. So I don't know. I'm just like I'm not in the PPR wavelength. I have PPR wavelength plus like I do best ball and DraftKings, which is also PPR. Like I just do a bunch of PPR. So I'm just not used to it. And yeah, I just like DraftKings' interface more too. But yeah, I mean that's awesome that you made so much money. Baron says you're interested in turning that one of the kids Sunday. I know, guy.
That's good, Barons. That was good.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, real quick, I forgot to say Jonas Gray. I was right. That was 2014.
Okay,
that was the year they won the Super Bowl against the Seattle Sea Chickens.
Yep.
The freaking interception at the one. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
we'll delve into that later.
D doesn't have Watt. I'm taking Steelers. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah. that is different. We finally solved the question. But thanks, John. I appreciate it as always. Thank you so much. So we have Browns at Raiders here. So RIP to a potential Raiders pick in the Super Contest and bet in real life because I thought they looked really appealing because the Browns are down 3 offensive linemen, no Jack Conklin, no Jedrick Wills, no Wyatt Tiller against a Raider defense with Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. This sounds awesome. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case because Max Crosby is going to miss the first game in his career. So you got to figure that injury is like pretty bad, and he hasn't been playing well, not nearly as well as he did last year. So that injury just must have been really bothering him. So yeah, hopefully he gets better. But in addition to Max Crosby being out, Devontae Adams is also out. So the Raiders were -2 and now they're +2. I actually still like the Raiders. I don't think Deshaun Watson deserves to be favored over most teams, especially on the road. He's just horrible. Like he just looks like he's shot putting the ball whenever he throws. Like there's something like really wrong with his shoulder. So yeah, I like the Raiders and Brock Bowers. We had some love for Brock Bowers in the chat so far. Brock Bowers over 49.5 receiving yards. He's gone over 50 yards twice in 3 games, and now there's no Devontae Adams or Michael Mayer. So they have you have one big target hog gone and one player at his position gone. So I feel like Brock Bowers he's gonna get so many targets in this game. I would play him in DFS. He's the most expensive tight end on the slate, but he's still not as expensive as he should be. Like he should be at like 6,500 plus, where I think he's like 5,900. So you're getting him at a discount. And that's not even factoring in Adams and Mayer being out. Like I think he should just be 6,500 in general. So he's cheap, and now he gets more targets. So I'm going to be playing Bowers, like no questions asked, and I like his over 49.5 receiving yards. So unfortunately, I don't have anything else in this game because of the injuries the Raiders have. So any thoughts here?
You don't think Bowers it'll be too popular of a choice? See, that's my hesitation with it because I feel like everyone's going to take Bowers.
So the thing you have to ask yourself is when you think about chalk and you try to figure out what his ownership percentage is. Let's say he's going to be 25% owned in the main contest, right? You have to it may sound like a good idea to fade him, but then you also have to ask yourself like, what are the odds that he's going to be the winning tight end in the lineup? Like right. Bauer, I think there's I don't know. This except for Goddard, like I don't see anyone who could beat out Bowers, and so he could be 40. Like, what if he's 40 to 45% to be the top tight end? Like, right. If that's the case, you should absolutely play him if he's going to be 25% owned because you're getting 15% leverage. So you have to kind of ask yourself that. Like, that's why there's sometimes like good chalk because like even though they're popular, they still may not be as popular as they should be. So I think he's good chalk. Like, I think Najee Harris is going to be popular this week because the Colts' run defense has been so bad. I think that's bad chalk because like I really don't think Harris is like. If Harris is 25% owned, I don't think Harris is greater than 25% to be in the winning lineup. You know what I mean? I think he might be like 10%. And if that's true, then you should absolutely not play him. So you have to go like on a case-by-case basis based on like who the highest owned players are and just ask yourself like what are the odds the players is going to be in the winning lineup. So it's just really like you can't just be like, oh, this guy's highly owned, I'm not going to play him. You have to ask yourself if he deserves to be highly owned or even higher owned than he is.
Right. Yeah. See, I think I get too contrarian with DFS when it comes to matters like that. Anyhow, I don't have much to add on this. Give me the Raiders, though, despite all the injuries. I'm not backing Deshaun Watson as a favorite. I don't know. This Browns team, I think, I don't know. The injuries obviously are glaring. It's like all their best freaking players, but I don't know. I still like them to prevail here. I really do.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the Raiders could win outright. I don't know why I think that. I'm not going to touch it, nor do I recommend that you. But like, I have a weird feeling that they're going to win. So, for really no, not a very good reason, but for office pool purposes, I'd take them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. By the way, Bowers, if you're wondering about the matchup against the Browns allowed 65 receiving yards to Brenton Strange, backup tight end to the Jaguars. So,
dude, Strange is. I'm just kidding.
yeah. So Caleb on Chason got elevated. Look out, Watson. Yeah, I mean, Watson needs to worry about everyone because he's just so bad. Arizona ancillary pieces or Las Vegas ancillary pieces? I'd say Arizona because they have the better matchups. Like Cleveland is still going to be good on the outside, although despite what Neighbors did last week, Neighbors is just unbelievable. I think that the Browns can still cover on the outside. So I just feel like Bowers and Myers are just going to like dominate all the targets there this week. So yeah, Myers is a good play too. But I like Bowers the most. I feel like you have to play one of them. Like it's just so unlikely that one of them is not going to hit, just because like they're just going to get so much of a workload, a target share. Or if you want to like try Trey Tucker, I suppose. But I do think it's going to be Myers dominated or Bowers dominated. Yeah. Good evening, Walter. Can we please get down to business now? Yes, let's be like CJ Stroud. Let's get down to business.
Yeah.
Who do you like in the
yeah
Liberty Aces game? I have no idea of any of these people. I can't name a single person. If you put a gun to my head and said name one player on these teams, I'd be like, well, it's been a good life. Goodbye, cruel world.
I haven't even been watching, as y'all. For those of y'all who may not be aware, I was a WNBA unofficial aficionado for a while there, but since football started, I haven't really been following. I mean, I've kind of peeked in at the scores, but I haven't been checking it out. I think the Liberty will win it all, though, Chris. So I'll take the Liberty for sure.
All right, well, there we go.
Thanks for coming by, Chris. Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, who is picking up the Tank Dell slack? I think Dalton Schultz is the first person who would do it. Maybe John Mechie will get some targets, but I think Dalton Schultz will be a little bit unlocked here with Dell gone. So I think Schultz is an interesting play at tight end, and I would consider him if Bowers wasn't such a good option. Like Bowers and Goddard are such great options this week. Like one of them, I'd be shocked if the one of them is not in the winning lineup. So I think just got to go with either of those. Nick Wright, oh God, Nick Wright. Said racism ruined the WNBA this year. My theory is that women playing basketball ruined it. Nick Wright could play. I think he's a woman, so he could play in WNBA too. It's Cracky and I disagree on this. And by the way, we didn't do our live stream WNBA watch.
I know, man. We'll have to wait till next season, I guess. Well, I mean, the playoffs are still going, but we're mid football season. We can't be wasting our time with that.
It'll have to be like next May or June, or I don't know when the WNBA season starts.
I'll clue you in. That's why you keep me around, so I can keep you informed of the WNBA schedule.
Okay, nice. How do you not know Chelsea Gray, the ex-Mrs. Darren Waller, and original Caitlin Clark? I don't know who Chelsea Clark Gray is.
Yeah, you're unbelievable sometimes, man.
Is she? Which team is she on?
She's on the Aces.
The Aces, okay.
I've never Kelsey Plum. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I have never heard of these people. I've heard of Professor Plum. I've never heard of Kelsey Plum. I don't know. I can't tell you if these people are real. You guys could be trolling me right now. I honestly, you guys could just be making players up right now. I mean, names up like in the Madden name generator. I don't know.
Funny because when he said Chelsea, I knew he meant Kelsey Plum. Well, I guess because he said the ex-Mrs. Darren Waller. But yeah, confusing your WNBA stars. That's good, Chris. Very good. Well,
Stars.
Yeah.
There's one star. There's Caitlin Clark. I don't know. You can't name anyone else if you haven't watched these games.
I can.
This up for defensive player of the year.
All right, awesome. What do we got? What do we got next? We got
the NBA players told all Caitlin Clark fans to stop watching the league. They did. They hate her so much. It's so funny.
Yeah,
I love it. I love, and that's like the only part of the WNBA I love is like the hatred, the pure envy they have of Caitlin Clark. It's so great. Anyway, so Chiefs at Chargers. This is the second game where I thought I was going to have a bet, but injuries ruined it. So the Chargers, they may not have Justin Herbert. And like, this is the worst part of it is like, I'd rather have Herbert not play if I'm betting the Chargers, because Herbert, it could be injured. You know, he could just be hobbled around. Last game, he foolishly tried to play, and then he got knocked out of the game in the third quarter. I feel like that could happen again. And he could just like injure her, like aggravate that injury and be out for 4 weeks. You know, it's just so stupid that he insists on playing. Just like, dude, it's a long season. Just rest. You're 2-0. You didn't need to play. So Justin Herbert may play, which is a negative. And then you have Joe Alt, doubtful. Rashawn Slater is out. Joey Bosa is out. Derwin James is suspended. Like, these are the Chargers' best players, except for Khalil Mack. Like, they're all out. And so how do you bet the Chargers at this point? I can't do it. If they had one of their tackles and one of Bosa or James, like, I would be on board with Chargers +7 here. So the Chiefs don't really win by margin all that often, although Mahomes does get motivated for these divisional games. I'll say that. But still, it's a high number for the Chiefs, who typically don't play their best until the playoffs. So I really don't want to take either side. They are one leg in my teaser, though. So I like the Chiefs -1. And by the way, Patrick Mahomes in his career as a favorite of 7 or more, straight up, Patrick Mahomes is, I have the number right here. He is 47-6 straight up as a favorite of 7 or more. So you're getting great odds there with Mahomes at -1. So anything else in this game? Oh wait, did I have a player prop? I do. I have Xavier Worthy under 37.5 receiving yards. He has like 2 catches every week. Like, yeah, he could break a long gain, but he just doesn't seem to do much. So Xavier Worthy under. So do you have anything from this game?
I don't have a strong opinion in this game, but I think I like the Chiefs, but I think I could make an argument here for the Superchargers as well, because it's like, okay, I don't know, like I feel like, do you think there's any chance that the Chiefs might be looking ahead to, like, you know, their matchup against the Saints coming up? It's going to be two, you know, especially if the Saints end up winning, like, there's going to be 2 of the best teams in the NFL facing off. I don't know if
no.
You don't think
sorry,
so?
real quick. No, this is a divisional game. The Saints and Chargers have the same record, so I don't see it. No, I think this is way more important of a game for them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here a little bit. What else do I have for the Superchargers? I don't know. I'm inclined for this to be like one of those games that ends up being like 3 or 4 points, as often these, you know, happens when these two teams get together. Oh, well, I feel like these games are usually close, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
so that's an eye test. That's just from an eye test standpoint. Okay. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna stay away from this one. I really don't have a strong opinion either way. I like the Chiefs, but it seems a little too easy to me here.
Okay. Brandon says, I heard they're firing their coach, Michael Hunt. I'm not falling for that one, Brandon.
Yeah.
Chris says, well, everyone knows America's sweetheart, Patriot Brittany Grinder. Yeah, I know, I heard of him, but like I don't know, he's not like a superstar or anything. She said he's not leaving the country if Trump wins, just not Russia though. Yeah. Yeah, just really. Will Taylor Swift be at the game, Walter? I don't know. It's LA, so I guess probably. I don't know her schedule. I really don't care about Taylor Swift. I actually saw that she endorsed Kamala. It actually had a negative impact on it. I think like it was like a negative 12%. Like I think like people were polled, and it was like people are 12% less likely to vote for Kamala because of the Taylor Swift endorsement. That was hilarious. It's just like yeah, like celebrities just stay out. Like no one cares about what you have to say. They don't care. It's like, I mean, Hillary had all the celebrity endorsements and she still lost. It's stupid. No, I feel like 20, 30 years ago, this would have meant so much, like Taylor Swift's endorsement. But I think, you know what, I think like really what happened was I think COVID broke everyone. Remember they had those like, they were singing on like Skype calls, like the celebrities, like when the lockdowns first started happening.
Yeah.
And like everyone was like, and they're like, oh, stay safe, stay home. And then it's like, all right, yeah, you get to live in your mansion, your 8-bedroom mansion. You get to stay home. You have a pool. You have like you have billiards in your basement. You have like all these like nice things. And it's like, yeah, we're cramped up in our small houses here, or apartments, and we can't leave. So yeah. And they're like, oh, we're with you. It's like yeah.
No, you're not.
It's like there's
no, you aren't.
Yeah, so I think celebrity endorsements have like the negative impact. I always wonder if like one campaign was like, hey, Bill Cosby, we'll pay you to endorse the other team. Like Bill Cosby, if like Trump paid Cosby to like come out and support Kamala. Like, I wonder if like they ever tried that or something. I think that'd be hilarious.
Dude, oh my God, that's actually an interesting tactic.
So yeah, negative endorsements.
Good God.
Yeah. Maybe she moved to Ukraine to fight injustices there. Yeah. I'm still going to try to convince Goodell to have a Ukraine game in the future. That's like one of my goals. Brandon says need to see the movie Lord of War 2, where Nicolas Cage is traded for a WNBA player.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Oh man, what is the Chiefs' ATS record when Taylor attended the game? Please check Coder Sports. I don't think they have that parameter.
Yeah, it's not on there. They have a special filter for it.
I guess like,
the errors filter.
Taylor Swift equals yes. No results found. There we go. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry.
No results found. Taylor Swift. I don't know.
Oh
the question is, will Travis Kelce show up for the game? That's the bigger question. Yeah, Travis Kelce complete no-show so far. Through 3 games, but that was the case last year, and then he went nuts in the playoffs. So wait till January for Kelce to do something. All right, Sunday night, Bills at Ravens. The only thing I like here, or I should say, I like 2 things here. One, this is the second leg of my teaser. So Chiefs -1, Bills +8.5. I think credit to John Sanders. Pretty sure he brought this to my attention. That in Josh Allen's career, he's only lost by 9 or more twice. That's it. And like once was against the Chiefs. And I don't think this Ravens team is that good. Yeah, the Bills could fall behind, but Allen tends to come back, with the scrambling and just great playmaking. He's the MVP right now. If their season were to end right now, he'd be MVP. So I like the Bills to keep this relatively close. +8.5 is the second leg of my teaser. The other thing I like here is the player prop, Lamar Jackson over 59.5 rushing yards. He's hit over every time, and it's because Baltimore's offensive line sucks. So he has to scramble a lot. And also in these big games and like national TV games, Lamar Jackson tends to run more. So yeah, it's like a double whammy. So I think Jackson goes over. Plus, the middle of the Buffalo defense is pretty bad because they're missing 2 linebackers. So yeah, Jackson over 59.5 rushing yards. As far as the side here, I really don't know how to read this game. Like the sharp money is on Baltimore, public on Buffalo. So that like makes me want to lean toward Baltimore, but I'm so down on Baltimore this year. I think their offensive line sucks. It's like last year I didn't fade them because I hate Dallas even more. But Buffalo, I'm still down on as well because they're still like learning chemistry and they have defensive injuries. But Josh Allen's just so great right now. I think he can overcome anything at this point. So I'm inclined to take the Bills, but I'm not going to bet the side, just the teaser and the prop. What do you think about this game?
Oh, how about we tease the Colts and the Bills? Bills +8.5 and Colts +7.5. I think that would be a good one.
I'd rather tease the Chiefs because I feel like Richardson could throw that game away. You know what I mean? But I think that could be 1 or 2.
Yeah. Really? I thought you had a little more faith in the Colts there. No. +7.5 though. I don't know because the Steelers' offense doesn't really score. I feel like that's
but like Richardson could easily throw a pick 6 like in the fourth quarter. Just ruin that for you. Like I have more confidence that the Chiefs will win than the Colts will keep it within 9.
Oh wow.
Really? I mean, Mahomes is 47-6 straight up is a favorite 7 or more.
Wow. Okay. Throw all three of them in there. See what happens.
Well, I think you could do that because if you hit the first two, you have a middling opportunity with Buffalo here. Like if you have Buffalo plus 8.5, like you can bet Baltimore at minus 2.5 and try to get a middle and like win both. So I do think
Right.
that's pretty viable, the strategy.
Well, this line, it seems like Vegas is begging us to take the Bills here, and that's what makes me hesitant. Because to me, like they seem too easy, but like I don't know, like even this looks like an example. It's like, oh, like people look at it, it's like the Ravens are only 1-2. They're and they're favored by 2.5, and we've seen the Bills look very strong at times this year. And I just this line, it just seems like they're begging you to take the Bills. So like I'm kind of inclined to go to lean toward the Ravens, but only because of that reason. But like I'm probably not going to touch this one either. But that's my commentary there.
Okay. How about Kincaid finally goes off versus that Baltimore lack of defense? I like Kincaid too. He's in my DraftKings lineup. I think he's in my same game parlay. Let me read that same game parlay to you guys. It is so Lamar Jackson over 56.5 rushing yards, Justice Hill over 13.5 receiving yards, Dalton Kincaid over 36.5 receiving yards, and Khalil Shakir over 46.5 receiving yards. $25 to win 200 on BetMGM. So let's we won our first first singing parlay of the year. So hopefully we win this one too. Walt, what are your thoughts on Dewana Boner? Is that real name? From the Connecticut Sun. Boner sounds better. Playing alongside her fiance Alyssa Thomas. Talk about team chemistry. I don't believe there's no Dewana Boner. Come on.
It's Bonner. It's Bonner.
Come on. Dewana Boner. Come on. That's such a big name. Stop. I know your tricks, Chris.
Yeah. Sharps are all over the yeah.
Michael Hunt was a more real name of coach than Dewana Boner. Sharps are all over the Ravens. Yeah, they are. And the Sharps aren't always right. Sharps are probably right like 53, 54, 55% of the time. So it's like, they might be wrong. The Sharps haven't done that well this year. So take that for what it's worth. And Chris said, that's why I said Q-Man, but Andy didn't agree about the line begging for Bill's money.
Yeah, I really seems that way to me. I feel that way about the Vikings this week too, but I do think one of them will still win. But I don't know. It's strange. Both for that reason, for both of those games, it makes me hesitant to make any move on either.
Okay. All right. We have two Monday night games. Titans at Dolphins. There's some concern here. The Dolphins moved to 2.5. I really like the Titans, but the injury report is giving me some pause. Well, first of all, Chidobe Awuzie was put on IR, which is not a big deal for this matchup because the Dolphins have their quarterback issues that are well documented. Tyler Huntley is going to start, but he's not that good of a quarterback. He can run around, but he's just not a great passer. The main issue here is that Jeffrey Simmons is doubtful. That kind of sucks. And then the other quarterback, L'Jarius Sneed, is questionable. So the Titans could be down three major players here defensively. And something I like to do is fade backup quarterbacks against top 10 defenses. But if all three guys are out, or even if like Simmons is out, which he's doubtful, the Titans won't have a top 10 defense. So that kind of like spoiled this one for me. I really like Tennessee, like I said beforehand, but now I'm not quite sure. So this kind of sucks. I'm still going to be on Tennessee, I think, but not for 5 units like I had projected on the site. It might be like 3 units. I still want to fade the Dolphins situation. I still think that Mike McDaniel is just a terrible coach. He has no idea what he's doing. Not that Brian Callahan knows either at this point, but I don't think the Dolphins should be favored. I think they're just like a lost team right now, and I think Tennessee should be able to win this game. So I'll have props on this on Monday afternoon. So nothing there yet. Who do you like here?
Walter, it's either the Titans, who have burned us, twice or 3 times already this year, but twice where they definitely should have covered, in my opinion, versus the Dolphins, who looked absolutely hapless last week. Mm-hmm. This is, I like the Titans, but They just haven't come through for us yet. It's just like, how many times am I going to go, back to the well versus how can I back this horrible, like after that horrible performance last week, which to me is even more, befuddling to me, if you will, as to why the Dolphins are even. I know why they're favored because the Titans are 0-3, but God, they were just so pathetic. I can't see. I mean, if that's what if they play like that again, there's no way they're going to win any. I don't think they're going to beat anybody. That was so pathetic.
Yeah.
So I have to take the Titans here, but again, I probably won't touch this because the Titans have been doing me dirty all season. But I take Tennessee here.
Okay. John's saying Ravens are 20-3 in primetime games since 2008 when Harbaugh arrived. I did not find that in Killer Sports. So what I did was so team equals Ravens and day equals Monday, or SNF equals 1, or day equals Thursday, and season since 2008. I'm getting 23-12 straight up, 20-14 against the spread, which is still good, but it's not that record. So I don't know. I don't know like where you heard that info. Oh, home games. All right, let's look at home. Let's put home in as well. And H, they are 11-1 straight up, but 7-5 against the spread. So they don't typically win by margin, like in an insane rate, but they still cover more often than they don't. So, they do tend to play better. Titans defense no longer looks elite. Well, I would say this: I thought they looked elite in the first 2 weeks. Last week, I think it may have just been a deflation with like Malik Willis there, like maybe they saw how bad he was in practice and they didn't take that game seriously. I don't know what happened last week. Like the defense should have played much better than it did, especially after how they looked in weeks 1 and 2. So I'm willing to forgive them for just 1 week. They just had a bad week, and I think they'll recover. But the problem is, like I said, Simmons is out or doubtful, and one of their cornerbacks is out, and the other cornerback is questionable. So it's just I don't know. If those guys are injured, then they definitely don't have an elite defense. And the Titans contain Ingold. That's the question. Ingold had as many catches as Tyreek Hill. So, it's like Mike McDaniel is like, I know what I'm going to do with my backup quarterback. I'm going to get my fullback involved here. What a great idea. Could they flex this game out? Yeah. Move it to like 10 a.m. on Lifetime. I think that's the way I go. That's the way I go.
This should be the Ukraine game.
Yeah, exactly. Just move it to Ukraine.
They beat the Jags, man. Yeah, they had to come back on the Jags.
Yeah. They had to get a Travis Etienne fumble to beat the Jags. Like that's how bad the Dolphins are. Now we see the Jaguars are like exactly right. Thoughts on game stacking New Orleans, Atlanta, and DFS? So the problem there is like there are 5 offensive linemen missing between the two teams. So I don't expect them. I don't expect the two teams to have like offensive fireworks, especially the Saints who are down 3 offensive linemen. It's going to be pretty rough.
Start both defenses.
Yeah, right. And Chris Olave is a game time decision as well. So like they're just like I feel like they're really reeling right now. I think that might be a lower scoring game than you might think. So I'd stay away from stacking that one. Johnson, they had, by the way, this is a good point. They had to roast the Jaguars with the magnifying glass to beat them. They still almost lost. Yeah, because the way the stadium's set up, they had to play under the sun in 90-degree heat and humidity, whereas the Dolphins were in the shade. And yeah, they still needed a crazy comeback to win. That was pretty telling. And like you don't have like all the info after week 1. So coming away from that, we saw the Dolphins beat the Jags, and I imagine, I don't know how you thought about it, but I'm thinking like, oh, Jaguars, they were a good team last year, 8-3 before Lawrence got hurt. Dolphins came back and won. Looks like the Dolphins are a little bit better than the Jaguars, and it makes sense to me because both teams can make the playoffs. And like now, only 3 weeks later, we know the reality is like that was a game between 2 bad teams, and one team screwed up and the other bad team won. Like yeah, so it's just funny. It's just funny how things change when you get more info, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Chris said I meant because the injuries on defense, particularly. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. It was aka Mr. Chess Expert. Yeah.
I decided for every Miami Dolphins game, though, I'm going to bet Storm Duck to score a touchdown. Imagine he scores a touchdown and I, Quacky T, didn't bet on that. It's like 100-1, man. I'm going to put $5 on it.
Yes.
Imagine that. Like they want to, they want to announce that. It's a pick 6 for Storm Duck. They're dying. The NFL's dying to say that. And I thought of it first. And you'll thank me, Quacky T, when you cash in your Storm Duck anytime touchdown on defense for the Miami Dolphins.
The problem with Storm Duck is that he played only 8 snaps in week 1, 4 snaps in week 2. He did see an uptick, 25 snaps in week 3, so he's trending upward. So I don't know. Maybe you'll get one, but I don't know. I think that I would not bet that much on it.
No, he's going to do it this week, man. He's going to score.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Binking says, John, what does that even mean, roast them? Yeah, so what John was saying that the way the Dolphins stadium is set up, the opposing team sideline is in the sun in the 90 degrees heat and the humidity, and the Dolphins sideline is in the shade. So they're basically like roasting them on their magnifying glasses, like the John's words. Whereas like the Dolphins, they get to stay in the shade and stay cooler. So it's just like a big home field advantage in September and like early October home games. And yet, despite that, they still needed a crazy comeback and an ATM fumble to win. So it just shows how bad the Dolphins are. And now they don't even have Tua. So they might be a bottom 3 team in the NFL. That's how bad they are.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy because we came into the season, at least I did, thinking that they're going to be maybe in the playoffs, but they're awful. Brandon saying, what WTF? The Alabama player who got the game-ending interception, crazy game, by the way, also got 177 yards, and he's only 17. That's crazy. It's crazy to think about how young that is. It's insane.
Remember when you were a kid watching football and like all the players were like seemed so much older, and now it's like I forget that they're like some of them are like not 20 years younger than me, but almost.
Forget players; their coaches older than us now. Like that's the scary part, you know. And I felt old when I was I felt old when I was talking about players, like being like, he's over the hill, he needs to retire soon. And then I looked at his age and like he's younger than me.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's a horrible existence.
Aaron Rodgers is the oldest player in the NFL. He's younger than me. So
yeah, that's so weird because I remember I was like, oh, like these are like you know, these are like old dudes.
Yep.
Like 26. Yeah, I'm like over here like 11 years old watching the Packers and stuff.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, imagine like one day you're going to see grandkids of the players you used to watch. Like we already see kids now, like Michael Pittman Jr., you know, Patrick Surtain too. Like these, like I watched their dads, you know, and we're going to see the grandkids soon enough. And it's going to be, you're going to feel really old.
It's weird to see them like go into the booth and like coach. Like Mike Vrabel is a coach.
Right.
Like Antonio Pierce is a coach. Mayo is a coach. It's like, geez, like I remember like these guys won, you know, Super Bowls and stuff. I watched it. And now it's surreal in a way.
Yes, it is.
It really is. Or like I had one of my best buddies, Lou. He's I think he's 8 or 9 years younger than I am. And I was like, I asked him just one day. I already knew the answer. I was like, "You never watched Troy Aikman play, did you?" He's like, "No, I only know him from the booth." And I was like,
That's
"Wow,
funny.
it's weird to think about that." But
yeah,
you know, like I think when the undefeated, I know I bring this up a lot, but when the undefeated Patriots lost that Super Bowl, that was 17 years ago now. 17 years ago.
Yep. People driving cars now weren't alive.
You got to be kidding me.
Yep. It's wild.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Biggie says Titans Dolphins game is at night. So yeah, what John was talking about was that first game. Jaguars at Miami in week 1. That's what he was talking about. I know it's at night, but like, the Dolphins won't have that advantage, which it helps Tennessee here. You guys play DFS? Yeah, we both do.
He's a lot better than I am, so don't listen to me.
I play $100 spy, and then I toss that into the main $1 million contest. I won a GPP in week 2. It was the Monday night slate, so it wasn't, unfortunately, not the $1 million. It was one of the it was like a $33 entry thing. I had Bryce Young as my quarterback, so it was quite the lineup. But yeah, I play. I can't remember the last time I haven't entered in a DraftKings lineup. Must have been like 8 or 9 years ago. So yeah, I play every week. So if you have any questions, just let me know. John says some have been born after 9/11. Yeah. Only reason is that McDermott brought that up randomly at a press conference.
That's
of course
crazy
he did.
to think about. Oof.
Yeah, it's insane.
McDermott brought it up.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. About to see another Manning. Yeah, Arch Manning is going to be the first pick in the draft when he declares probably 2026. Although some guy got really mad at me on Twitter because I have Arch Manning as the first pick in my 2026 NFL mock draft. And he's like, "There's no way he's coming out. He's going to stay in school all 4 years." Like, okay, I don't know. I'm just putting him up there because he's a big name. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, Chris says better hope 42-year-old Diana Taurasi doesn't retire.
Yeah, she's been in for about 20 years. How long is? Yeah, I guess 20 years she's been in. Over 20 years.
I've heard of her.
She's on the Mercury, the Phoenix Mercury.
That I would not have known, but I do know that I do know the name, so I guess I know 3 WNBA players. I know Caitlin Clark, Brittany Grinder, and Diana Taurasi.
Yeah, but like Diana Taurasi, definite WNBA Hall of Famer without a doubt. So
I wouldn't have known that, but
well, that's why you keep me around, you know.
WNBA correspondent Quacky Takes
to come in and give his reasonings on the picks and tell stupid jokes. Let's keep it rolling here. What do we got? 17.
Oh god, the 2046 NFL draft is gonna be like all hell. I actually want to submit a joke 2046 NFL mock draft and be like Tyreek Hill Jr. first pick, Tyrone Hill second pick, Tywin Hill third pick, Tyrion Hill fourth pick, Jamie Hill fifth pick, like Cersei Hill sixth pick. Like,
jeez, man.
That's what I want to do.
That's wild. That's wild.
I'm gonna do it. No questions here. Honestly, you should probably be asking me questions. Who's your top stack, Binking? Let us know.
Well, I probably should. Walt's good at this. I'm only good at hockey DFS.
You are very good at hockey DFS. I will vouch for that.
Oh, thank you.
You've almost won so many contests that you've shown me lineups of. All right, so Seahawks Lions, the final Monday night game. Lions are favored by 3.5. This is Andy's top pick, if I remember correctly. He likes Detroit a lot. One negative for Detroit is that Frank Ragnow is out, but I think the Lions' offensive line is so good that they can overcome it. People might be looking at this and thinking, hey, Seattle kept it close twice at Detroit the last 2 years, but Detroit was very banged up in those 2 games. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't play 2 years ago. He played last year, but he was like in and out of the lineup. He was really reeling, like he was not himself. So Detroit's healthier now. I think Seattle's on the radar. You know, Seattle's 3-0. So I think Detroit's going to take this game seriously. I think they're a lot better than Seattle. And I said before that you need a good reason to bet minus 3.5. I think the real reason is that Detroit is just a far superior team. So I would consider betting Detroit. I'm not quite sure what sort of bet. It's not going to be a big bet, but it might be like 1 or 2 units. What are your thoughts here?
I like the Lions a lot. I know they made our card for the Super Contest. The Seahawks have really done nothing to impress me. You know, I think they're very much overrated given by their record. I mean, look who they've beaten. None of it really has impressed me. And like you said, the Lions are the far superior team. The only thing that concerns me here is, I feel like the Seahawks, and you probably have the stats in front of you. I feel like the Seahawks always play the Lions well, like you said. But then your point is taken that it was, the Lions were injured in those games. But
right here, Lions are 1-9 versus Seattle this millennium. I mean, the only the past 2 games matter because 3 years ago that wasn't this real team, So, against 1-9 against Cal. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah. Pete Carroll was there, so not Mike McDonald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's my only hesitation here, but I really think that the Lions are could be their coming out party, as Culpepper's coming out party. I like the Lions here a good bit. I think this could be like a double digit sort of sitch.
Okay. Sue says YouTube Gruden says Seahawks 30, Lions 27. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I still have not checked out John Gruden's YouTube channel. I keep saying I will, and I always forget. I heard it's good. I mean, Gruden, it sucks that he's blackballed by the NFL. Like, I feel like he should be coaching right now. But I assume he's not going to get hired until that lawsuit's settled. So I hope he wins a lot of money and takes money away from Goodell. I think that'd be awesome. So, I don't know what sort of a handicapper Gruden is, but I mean, he's a brilliant football mind. So I guess you can read into that. Thinking is Seattle +4. Elite in Seattle feels like the Lions are stumbling in transition growth. Believe we've seen the Lions peak last year. Yeah, we haven't seen the Lions play their best, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to keep playing their best. I feel like they could turn it on in a flash. Like they have immense talent, and so they could be at the point where they coast in the first month of the year, and then they turn it on in like meaningful games. And I think we could really see that. You see that in the NBA with like the Golden State Warriors, like back when they were good. They used to coast and like. They used to have like these slow starts, and then people were like, "Oh, what happens to the Warriors?" And then they turn it on. The Bengals do this. They always start 0-2, and then they get hot. I think the Lions are like in that realm now because they've had so much success, and they have like Super Bowl aspirations. So like they don't need to go all out to start the year. But this is a Monday night game. It's against a team that's 3-0. It's against the team that beat them last year. I think the Seattle's definitely on the radar. So I think we're going to see the best game from the Lions this year.
And I also think, keep in mind, like the Lions had a great season last year, and even though they didn't make the playoffs the year before, had still had a strong team. But like, keep in mind, like this is big for the city of Detroit too. I think to have a primetime game. Yeah, they always have the Thanksgiving game, but like, how many primetime games like before last year? Like this. I think this is still a big deal to them. So like, I think that's I'm not putting too much stock into that, but I think for that, like Detroit could show up and show out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
They've
got that on their side. I think too, maybe, for whatever that's worth to the viewers.
Mm-hmm. Seahawks shut down the Boyle in goal duo.
Yeah, dude, they made him look stupid out there.
That vaunted Tim Boyle to Alec Ingold connection. Seattle shut it down. It's so great last week.
Yeah.
Good points though. Kim McGill says, I hope you guys are right. I've got a Jets Detroit money line parlay. Good luck. Let's just hope the Jets don't win by 8 or more. Hope you win your parlay. And the city of Detroit has shifted their focus to the Tigers. Are the Tigers in the playoffs? I guess.
Yeah, they just clinched. I think, what was it? Maybe I want to say maybe a month and a half to 2 months ago, they had like a 0.8% chance to make the playoffs, and they made the playoffs. So they're really turning it on, and I think they have a chance they could play the Orioles. I have a play on the Orioles to win the World Series. Right. So I actually took the Padres. So I took the Orioles and I took the Padres to win the World Series, and they both clinched a playoff spot. So and they're Orioles are American League, Padres are National League. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah, got a couple alive there.
Yeah, you got 2 bullets. I hope you win one of them.
I appreciate it.
I said win one of them as if you win both. Yeah, well, I hope they both get to the World Series, so you don't.
Yeah, there you go. Then I can just be happy,
Exactly. Tigers were 8-game back on August 11. Went nuts. Okay, I don't follow baseball, but I know the Phillies have done well because everyone always asks me, like, what do you think of the Phillies? I'm like, I can't name. Actually, I said this on the show Tuesday when Andy was talking about it because he knows I'm for Phillies, so he brought up the Phillies. I'm like, dude, I can't name one player in the Phillies. And actually, I named 3 players, I think, or 4. So I was not being truthful there because I know Bryce Harper.
Bryce Young.
You might as well play baseball at this point.
Bryce Young. Yeah, he's go ahead.
Yeah, I know Bryce Harper, although now I'm kind of blanking on their name. Aaron Nola, I know. I'm like blanking on their other names now. So maybe I only know 2 names. So yeah, I like the point is, like, people always come up to me and they know I write about sports, like, but they assume that like I write about baseball, and they're like, oh, what do you think about the Phillies? You write about the Phillies on our website? I'm like, no, I'm not Walter Baseball. I don't really care about baseball. I think it's so boring. So yeah, I don't know. I really look. I hope the Phillies win because I know that my dad likes them and other people I know like them, but I really don't care otherwise. So Jose Altuve, is he on the Phillies?
No, he's on the Astros.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are tricking me here. First,
Yeah.
that boner girl, now Altuve.
Well, I mean, I still like the Orioles, but I'll tell you what, the Padres have been a nice surprise. I bet them like a month and a half ago to win the World Series, and they clinched a spot. The Orioles are going to get a wild card spot. The Yankees are I would say for sure the favorite of the American League. But I don't know, baseball, like a lot. I mean, I guess you can say that's in any sport, but anything can happen. I still can't believe the Tigers did what they did. So I don't know. And the Mets kind of came out of nowhere as well. So
yeah.
it's
Here's the real question: are you sure the World Series can end in the tie? Nice.
It could maybe.
Night baseball in the month of October sucks. Yeah, I weren't like World Series games. Didn't they used to be on in the afternoon? You know, I feel like the Super Bowl used to be on in the afternoon too.
Wait, the World Series games? No, but like some of like the divisional round used to be.
No, in like the 80s, it used to be in the afternoon. 70s, 80s.
Oh, that I don't know. Not in my lifetime, it wasn't.
Oh no, yeah, not in our lifetime, but like I feel like in the 80s it was.
Oh,
same with the Super Bowl used to be on in the afternoon too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends. Well, what time does it usually start now? Like 6:36 or something weird?
Yeah, 6:30 Sunday, because Sunday night that's like the main time slot. I feel like it used to be on at like 3 o'clock. I don't know. Let's see if anything. Walter women's basketball.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I do the Walter. I write the Walter's women's basketball column right here. I'm your correspondent.
Yeah, exactly. How are the Detroit Tigers not a big story this year? Their turnaround was incredible.
Yeah, really was.
I'm just finding out about it. So yeah. Deanna Boner is the real player.
I know.
And like Michael Hunt. Padres always hook, but choke. He says, but
yeah. I appreciate it, Mario. Thank you. Yeah, it's just like it's a small play, but yeah. Hope we get it. Mezzo and all the Grimace. Yeah.
The McDonald's mascot.
Yeah, like Grimace came out and threw like the first pitch of a game, and like then I think I want to say they won like 7 or 8 in a row. Like outside, everyone was like, "Oh, like Grimace like was the reason." Dude, Grimace was the best of the McDonald's characters. I don't know. I mean, when you really think about it, like Ronald McDonald, that is like I don't know. Clowns are weird. Do you know anyone who like thinks clowns are funny? I mean, pretty much everyone. I don't even know anyone who's clown neutral. Everyone I know like is like terrified of clowns, pretty like more or less. You have to be like, oh, I hate clowns. You know? Do you know anyone that thinks a clown is funny?
No, I'm kind of neutral on clown. I don't care. Like I don't find them scary, but I don't like them either. I just don't care. I just like it's weird.
You're clown neutral.
Yeah,
you're the first clown neutral I've ever met.
I don't know. I know people have a fear of clowns. I don't know why. Like why?
I think it's a common. Well, I don't know. They're weird. Like what are they doing? Why are you? I don't know.
It's just people who have paint on their faces.
I mean, I guess it's not that much of a mascot than a Disney mascot, and people love to. Oh, look! I got 18,000 pictures with Mickey. Now, if you have kids, I'm not throwing shade at anyone here, but like, if you have kids and you go to Disney, understandable. But like, I don't know. I think it's a little strange, like sometimes. And I'm not throwing any shade. These people are probably happier than me anyway. But I don't want to go to Disney as an adult and like take like 18,000 pictures with like Pinocchio and stuff. You know, it's like why?
Yeah.
You know, and again, with the only stipulation, you got kids. That's that's part of the package deal in many cases. You know, but it's hot there too, man. Going to those parks. Do you go to? Have you ever been to Disney World?
Yeah, I've been twice. Last time I went with my wife. She was just my girlfriend back then. We actually visited Charlie in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
And we just decided to make a day trip to Disney World. And unfortunately, it was on July 4th weekend. So it was like the lines were so long. It was so bad. I actually wrote a Jerks of the Week column about it. Like it was 10 years ago, or longer than 10 years ago.
I watched this hour-and-a-half long YouTube video on like the science behind the lines of Fast Pass, the Fast Pass idea. It's actually kind of interesting.
Is it?
I've lost my mind. Who else would? I don't know. I mean, it did have a lot of views, but it's a long watch. It might have been a few hours. Mm-hmm. I used to fall asleep to it. Like they're just talking about like how they like it was basically like the evolution of Fast Pass. It was wild. I'm sorry. Do we wrap up on the plays? Do we want to do?
Yeah.
Let's get some comments here.
Astros trade for Kikuchi, told him his curveball sucked and he should stop throwing it. His ERA is cut in half and his win ratio went from 25 to 85%. Yeah, the Astros have a knack of doing that. But isn't that like related to the cheating or something? Not that's not saying that it is. I don't know, but weren't they called cheating?
That was
like
back in
they were stealing signs or something.
Back in 2017, they were banging on the trash can. It's rather well documented. Like you can definitely hear it, like, boom. Like they knew what they were doing, but then they won't. You know, it's
they win anyway. I don't know. Are they still doing it?
No. I mean, you don't. They would know. Like they would know to look out for it.
Yeah, but couldn't they be doing something else? Like I don't know. Like if the team's cheating, like what's to stop them from cheating?
I guess that's true, but I don't know. I feel. I'd like to think that most teams are going to be on, and at that point, like they got to feel like the magnifying glass is on them, like they're already under scrutiny. Like, would you want to risk that again, and then like really hurt like the team's image? I mean,
if you're in a relationship with someone who cheated and you caught him once, and it's like, oh, they're not cheating anymore. It's like, how do you know? Like, oh, they're just not. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
they're likely to cheat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I'm an outsider here. I don't know anything about the Astros.
Right. I don't know. I mean, there's. What do you think about? Did you see that well, probably not, because I know you don't like documentaries. That the Untold series on Netflix. I mean, I love the 30 for 30 series. I really like the Untold series too. Well, what's that guy, Connor Stallions, that scout that he could read the other team's signs for University of Michigan?
Yeah.
What do you think about that there? Because you know everyone's like, oh, like they're cheating, and like I don't know, this guy is just like. I mean, isn't that why like team like when they. You know, if there's a visit out the mound, like they cover their mouth, or like on the sideline of the NFL, they cover their mouth with the play sheet.
Right.
You know, like, and I know there was more to it than that, and I'm sure the comments are going to jump in here at some point, the peanut gallery, which I want, but like, I don't know. There was an interesting story. I'll watch it again. But have you seen it? You should watch it. It's not that long.
I don't really have any interest in documentaries.
Oh, come on, man. Why?
I don't know. I just think it's so boring.
Why? But it's like you get to like see like different. I don't know. Like it's like real life stories and stuff.
Yeah, but I'd rather if I'm spending free time, I'd rather just not deal with real life because I have to deal with that regardless. Like outside of like my free time, you know.
Yeah.
I'd rather just like just watch something that doesn't have to do with real life. I don't know. I think documentaries are so boring.
Fair. But I mean, like, I'm surprised though, even like the sports related ones, like you're not, like you haven't seen The Last Dance. Like I mean, I've watched that at least 100 times.
I'd rather just watch games. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like you should try it out. Okay, look, in lieu of the WNBA game, will you watch an entire documentary for me for my birthday?
I've watched the documentary before. I watched My Octopus Teacher.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's like you watch one, like you watch one.
Yeah,
watch a sports one. Watch the Michael Jordan one. You'll really like it. I promise.
I don't think I would. I think it's so boring. But like I know the history of it. I've seen it. I saw the games. Like I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, but there's new. You get to learn new stuff, and it's fun to relive it, man. I love that era.
I'd rather just rewatch the game.
Oh man.
Like that's like
well, better. No, I mean, I think you'd enjoy it. I want you to enjoy it as much as I do. You know.
Honestly, I think I'd be bored just watching it. I don't know. I've never watched 30 for 30. No. I may have watched one. I may have watched like the it was the Steve Bartman one. Wasn't that?
That's the best one. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I watched that one at least 100 times, at least. That is such it's a real human interest piece. That's my favorite 30 for 30.
See, I didn't even think that was interesting. Honestly,
you're missing out. Come on, watch it again.
Well, I'd rather watch like good TV shows, like with plots and stuff. I don't know.
You don't find that fascinating? How like I don't know, like over something like at the end of the day, it's like pretty trivial, like. And like I get it. I mean, I'm so fascinated. I'm actually like pretty well versed in Chicago sports, like unintentionally. Mm. I'm not kidding you. I watched Catching Hell. That's the name of that documentary, the Steve Bartman one. I watched it, keeping it real, at least 100 times. The first time I watched it 3 times in a row.
Really?
Yeah, there's probably something wrong with me. I don't know. I like to watch things on repeat. Like, if I really enjoy something, like I want to get so well versed in it that like I can tell you, like I almost want to sell it to you because I enjoy it so much. Like I want you to enjoy it as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's one of my favorites. You know what? Maybe I'll watch it tonight. I've been watching it a long time, man. I mean, I've been watching it since 2011.
Well, you still have to finish Game of Thrones, so it's.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I made pretty good. I made it to season 4, episode 3, and then now we're into football, talking football again.
Right. We'll have to finish next off season, but no. I mean, I lived through it. I saw it. Like, I don't feel like I need to watch the documentary because I saw the game, I saw the news reaction to it. There wasn't social media back then, but if there was social media, I would have seen the reactions to people have. So why do you need to see a documentary on it? I never got the point of it. I just don't find it interesting. I think it's like boring. So I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, the Chicago Bears 30 for 30. I would say like the Chicago Bears documentary. That's one of the best, not even sports documentaries. It's one of the better documentaries I've seen ever. And Survive and Advance, the one about Jim Valvano. That guy, man, he's like, what an inspiration, and that's a crazy story. If you haven't seen that 30 for 30, it's called Survive and Advance, about the 1983 North Carolina State team that won the national championship. Mm-hmm. They were down in their 7 of their last 8 games, like including the ACC tournament. Like they had to win the ACC tournament to make the tournament. Right. They were tied or losing with like 30 seconds or like under a minute to go in like 7 of those 8 games and found a way. Like I'm talking like with no shot clock, down 6 with like less than a minute in overtime. And they found a way to come back and win. And all the way to like they beat Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Cougars. What they had Olajuwon and Drexler and this under like the Cinderella NC State team. And then it goes through the story of Jim Valvano and his cancer, losing his battle with cancer. And
right.
It's a tearjerker, man. It's such a crazy story how they kept just coming back because they didn't have a very good season, and it's so good. I've seen that one a lot, but like, man, you hear like Jim Valvano talk, like it moves you to tears a little bit. It'll get a little misty eyed watching that one. But I reckon even if you don't like sports, that one's good. And same thing with the Bears one because it goes over the Buddy Ryan, like Mike, all the players, and like you could see like because at the end, Buddy Ryan, rest in peace. He, this was made in, I believe, 2015. So Buddy Ryan was still alive and he was not in good shape. And then at the end, like Buddy Ryan, like, he could barely speak, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And he wrote like a letter to all the players because like originally they were cleaning house with the coaching staff and the defense was like, no, like they wrote a letter to George Halas or like, keep Buddy Ryan. So he was like, I write this letter. He's like, you stood up for me all those years ago. And he's like, you guys will always be my heroes. And like, just to see like all like Singletary had to like leave the interview, he was crying, and like it's just a really moving documentary. And like the interesting thing about the 85 Bears, they really didn't go through any adversity as a team. It's like, dude, they were just freaking steamrolling everybody, more or less. Obviously they lost that game to the Dolphins, but like there were just so many cool characters. That's one of the best documentaries ever. And Vince Vaughn narrates it. He does a good job. With the narration. That's a really good one.
Okay.
So. Yeah, man. Oh, we gotta get you into it. One 30 for 30 every week.
Oh God.
5 times a week, or no?
I thought one period. Like once a week. That sounds awful.
Well, how about we get you because they have these 30 for 30 shorts, and if you haven't seen this one, it's only 9 minutes long. It's about Jimmy Johnson. It's called The Great Trade Robbery. About when he. So for those of you who might not know, like when Jimmy Johnson, he won the national championships in Miami, of course. Then when he came to Dallas and won the 2 Super Bowls, like that team sucked at first, and all they had really was Herschel Walker. Like I think it was Aikman's rookie season. He had a rough rookie season, if I'm remembering correctly. So what Jimmy Johnson did was he traded Herschel Walker to Minnesota, and they got like 5 like mediocre like sort type of players, but their draft picks tied to all of them. So he made that trade and like cut all those players and got like all the draft picks, and like they got like Emmitt Smith and like Russell Maryland and all these key players that contributed to them winning 3 Super Bowls. So it's called The Great Trade Robbery. But at the time, people were like, "Are you nuts? Like this guy's a college coach. He doesn't know what he's doing." And it's like he just couldn't tell anybody that he was going to do that until he did, which he was allowed to, but they didn't think they would. And yeah, it's called The Great Trade Robbery. It's a really interesting one. So
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, they lose.
Yeah,
They use Bluetooth to cheat now. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
They're. I guarantee they're cheating. I guarantee it.
Oh, sure.
Let's see. Would you watch an documentary on the Octomom? No,
Oh yeah, I love
no,
Octomom.
no documentaries, please. The one documentary I liked was History of Russia on YouTube. Thank you all. Yes, that okay. So yes, a musical documentary. It's called The History of Russia, and it's to Tetris music, but they have lyrics to it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
I'll
It's
have to
like
check that
8 minutes long. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it was The Last Dance is that good. I
Yeah,
love Terry Fox and Once Brothers episodes.
I haven't seen Once Brothers, but I know that it's really good. Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Brandon said they made me king at the end of Game of Thrones. I like the ending. Well, Brandon, you had the best story, so you deserve to be king because you had the best story. You had no idea what I'm talking about, Tom, but
No.
you will eventually. Chris says,
Okay.
"Oh yeah, Jimmy B episode was great. Rewatched back to back. The pie slam."
Yeah. That Houston team was dirty, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I skip the Jimmy V documentary? Just Google it on Sports Reference.
You can. I mean, but you're missing out. It's a good one, man. It's real inspiration.
Cool fact about the 85 Bears who went 15-1. If they gave their opponents a free 7 points at the beginning of each game, they would have gone 13-2-1. That's incredible. It really is.
Wow. Yeah. That's that's what's so funny about that team. At no point was there ever they went into that game. I mean, that was a historically bad game. Tony Eason, remember, for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
God, they just couldn't get anything done. 46-10 was the final.
Yeah, they also shut out both their playoff opponents. They only allowed 10 points in the Super Bowl. A Peyton fumble led to a 3-and-out field goal and a 4th-down touchdown in garbage time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember, the Ravens defense gave up. Hold on, let me get this right. Only gave up 16 points in 4 playoff games. Because the only 7 points the Giants scored on the Super Bowl were on special teams.
Yep.
So in 4 playoff games, what was that? 2000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, the 2000 Ravens that won the Super Bowl. They gave up that defense was so good. 16 points.
Yeah.
In 4 playoff games. That was incredible.
Amazing.
The Giants didn't have a play over across midfield till like the second half, I don't think.
Yeah, that was so lopsided. Texas had a great trade robbery for Deshaun Watson. Can we watch the documentary on Watson's massages?
Oh my god!
Probably had on browsers or Pornhub.
I saw that on there, Stone Papa Smurf. Yeah, I'd like to check that one out.
What made the Walker trade was how great Johnson was drafting players in late rounds. Yeah, that's the key. Is people like to give Mike Mayock a lot of flack for his first round picks, and they were awful, like many of them. But he did such a great job drafting in the mid and late rounds. Like he found Max Crosby. A few I can't off the top of my head I can't remember. But he found so many great players in the mid and late rounds. It's incredible. The Chiefs should redo the Super Bowl shuffle right now.
Oh, I love the Super Bowl shuffle. Samurai Mike, I stop him cold. Part of the defense, big and bold, dude. I've watched the Super Bowl shuffle probably at least 100 times in my life.
How many of those early picks were by Gruden anyway? So what the Raiders did, I think Charlie talked about this, that when Gruden and Mayock were together, Gruden would pick the offensive players and Mayock would pick the defensive players. So Cleveland Farrell was on Mayock, but Henry Ruggs was on Gruden. So that's Josh Jacobs was on Gruden. Jonathan Abram was on Mayock. So that's how they did it basically. Go ahead.
I wanted to get the poll of the viewers here. This is something that we talked about, and I hope I remember all the teams. So which fan base suffered the worst Super Bowl loss? Was it the Patriots, the undefeated Patriots that lost to the Giants? They lost the last game, obviously. Like, which fan base hurt the most? The Patriots, the Seahawks for the interception at the 1, or the Falcons for blowing the 28-3 lead? Like, which one of those games was most disheartening to the fan base? Would you say?
Well, I brought this up to you when we talked about it. I thought that if you compare it to like relationships with a girl or whatever, the opposite sexes or same sex, but whatever. If you like, we like to be all inclusive here. No, I think that the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl was like you're in a relationship and you get like blindsided with a breakup, which I personally got like the girl I dated before my wife now, like I thought we were gonna get married. I was looking for properties in New Orleans because she was in school at Tulane. Like I was so shocked that she broke up with me. So yeah, so I think that was the worst. The Patriots Seahawks game, I thought was like the Seahawks were down for most of that game, and I feel like they suddenly had a shot and then they lost it. And so I would compare that to like going up to a girl and like thinking like, yeah, we're really vibing with her. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ask her out. She's gonna say yes. And she's like, no, I have a boyfriend. And just like it's like a sudden letdown. And then what was the other one?
The undefeated Patriots losing to the Giants.
Yeah, undefeated Patriots losing the Giants. So like they had got out to a great start that year. They were covering the spread all the time. They looked awesome. And then like in the second half of the year, they had like these shaky results. Like they almost lost to the Eagles and the Ravens. Like it looked like things were going to end like badly, despite the fact that they kept winning. So I thought of that in terms of relationship. I thought it was like a marriage that starts great, and then you start having fights, and then it just gets worse and worse, and like eventually like one is throwing like objects at the other, and it's going to end badly, and then you get hit by the divorce and that loss. So that's how I compare it. So with all three, I feel like the worst pain is the relationship that's going well and ends in a sudden breakout that you don't see coming. So I think Falcons Patriots for that reason. So
yeah, and I like your reasoning. I just really think, because I think for people who weren't like, maybe weren't watching when that Patriots team was so special. Like it was so. God, Randy Moss was so freaking good that year, and Brady was insane. And then, because I remember thinking, like they really are limping to the finish line of this undefeated season. Yeah. But then, like when they drew the Giants, it was like, remember, like Green Bay. Like I thought for sure Green Bay was going to win the Super Bowl that year. That hurt because it just seemed like, Eli was always, just starting to become like the butt of jokes and whatnot, and was under a lot of scrutiny, especially the season previous with Tiki Barber calling him out, who left the team. Yeah. And so it really seemed like the Patriots were really going to do it, and I feel like that's got to hurt. Like I don't know, I think that's going to stick with you long term. I mean, to win every game and then,
yeah, but like I said, they were so close to losing so many games in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know. When they were playing the Giants, I was actually worried about them. Like I liked the Giants. I bet them that game.
Yeah, so did I.
Because like the way to beat Brady was to pressure him with four guys and not blitz. Like that's what the Giants could do with that great defensive line.
Yeah.
So even though like the Packers were the better team than the Giants, at least record wise, like I think the Patriots would have beaten them and not the Giants, just because like it's just like you're not going to outscore Brady and Moss in a shootout, but you can beat them if you just crush him in the pocket with four guys. That's exactly what the Giants did.
Yeah, no, and I think you have there's value to your point there, but I just remember thinking like I was kind of like willing because I knew it was going to be Favre's last season no matter what in Green Bay, and I thought this is like it's going to play out like what a cool way to go out, beat this undefeated team. Mm-hmm. But I thought that too, like because it's like I don't know in my lifetime Green Bay seems to when they go to play the stiff competition sometimes they just don't show up, a lot of times. Yeah. So that could have happened too. I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't happen. But
yeah, we have we have some answers here. Wide right, John says. Of course,
Scott Norwood, of course.
Yeah, Falcons, Bills or Falcons. So yeah, Seahawks had just won at the Bengals.
Yeah,
that's true. And maybe the Broncos when they got crushed by the Seahawks.
That was
weird. That was a weird one.
Yeah, but that was more like a game that was over before it got started. It wasn't like something like very drastic happened, like an interception at the 1 or blowing a 28-3 lead, like which was like that was a pretty sudden. I mean, that was surprising. I did like the Seahawks. I remember weren't they +4? Like
4, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I took them +4, but I thought it would be like a field goal game. I didn't. That was remember the first score was a Seattle safety. The first play. My buddy Pat that I used to work with years ago had a picture. He said his buddy bet it was 50-1 first score Seahawks safety. He put 1,000 on it.
Oh God!
And
wow.
it hit. Yeah, like he showed me a picture of like the ticket.
Wow,
It's just like holy cow.
That's
yeah,
great.
50,000 first scoring play. Seahawks safety. That's crazy.
How do you put 1,000 on that? That's insane.
I don't know. I guess he
I
has.
mean,
a lot
he
of money.
won, but that's a crazy bet to make.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing that regularly, that 50,000 like that much, then that 50,000 is not. Well, I mean, unless you really like, if you're really just taking a stab, it's like this defense is that good, it could happen.
Yeah, I
because
guess
that was a great defense. Obviously.
Yeah.
Remember, I was thinking, I haven't thought of this in so long. The game before that, when Seattle beat San Francisco, remember when Richard Sherman went off? Like, I kind of forgot about that in the post game interview about Crabtree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I haven't thought of that, dude. That was like what 11 years ago now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's insane, man. That's insane. 11 years ago.
Yep. Yeah. At least Seahawks won the Super Bowl before that. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Broncos lost is so bad no one even enjoyed watching.
Yeah, those are the worst. Those are the worst kind, Brandon. My Packers have I was just
Seahawks fans.
I was just telling Walt that's happened to the Packers in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers and against the Falcons in the Rodgers era. It's just painful to watch. They never had a chance. You know what's funny about the Seahawks interception at the 1 though? Can you imagine how genius Pete Carroll looks if that play works? Because it's like everyone knew we were going to Lynch. No one would have thought that, and it worked. Like he would have looked so freaking smart. He would have been remembered for that. And it's like, dude, it's like, and what are the chances of it being intercepted? Incomplete.
It's thrown to a crowd. It's a good chance it's intercepted.
I mean, it's more likely that it would be incomplete. You know what I mean? How could that happen at the 1? Like, I just feel like there's this video of like these Seahawks fans, like they're watching, like they're like, yeah, like they got down to the 1 and they're all going beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, and all of a sudden it's like,
no,
like their faces fell off is what happened. Their faces fell off.
Yeah,
they were in such disbelief.
What have made Carroll smart is doing the right play and winning his second Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and that he just looks like an idiot because he called that play like that. That tarnished his career a little bit.
For certain, but I still contend, even if they did score there on that next play, they had, because there was 35 seconds left, if I'm not mistaken, and I think they had at least one timeout. They would have gone up by 3. They still would have had a chance, and they're going to go, because remember that was the last year of the 2-yard extra point.
Yeah.
So like chances are they're going to go, they're going to go by 3. They're going to make the extra point. So like 35 seconds and at least one timeout, I think they had to get in the field goal range. Like they could have done that.
But that's why you run Lynch, is if you score, you're up. But if you don't get in, the clock keeps ticking.
Right.
And the Patriots don't even have a chance. So that, like, Carroll's extra dumb for that. Like, it was such a stupid decision. Just made no chance. It made no sense. Can't forget Cam Chancellor tore his ACL the night before because they tried some stupid play in practice. They never tried. I forgot about that.
Wait, he didn't play in that game?
I guess I completely just memory hold that one. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I might be. I mean, I'm already losing my mind. So,
any of y'all bet the presidential odds? I have not yet. I'm trying to get plus odds on both, but like it's like one is -114, one's -107. It was possible to get plus money on both on Biden and Trump in 2020 because at the beginning of the night, Trump was plus money, and then he became a favorite when he won Florida. And then Biden was like a big underdog. And then obviously toward the end, Trump became an underdog again. So you had multiple chances to get plus money on both. So that's what I would try to do. If I were to bet on one, I think it would be Trump at this point. But I'm more interested because in getting plus money on both because I think it's definitely possible. He played with a torn ACL. Okay. Now that makes more sense because I don't remember him missing the game. Vegas is Walt. Have you thought about doing an election prediction contest? Like maybe we pick the winner for each state, and whoever gets the most electoral votes, correct, wins. That'll be fun. I just don't know how quickly we could do that. Like I don't know how quickly my developer could do that, but I think that would be fun. He is working on a new contest though. It's like just for premium users, and you're basically competing against me for my picks. And it's called Fade Back, I think. So you can either fade me or back me. And he's like pretty close to getting that done. So look out for that. And then for election night, I do want to get I do want to have an election night show, even though it's on a Tuesday. So we're gonna have Kenny on if he can make it. We're gonna have a Body Burner on. We're gonna have Omnifero on, or like whoever else wants to join. So that'd be fun. But yeah, maybe for 2028 we can do that. But it's like too soon to do that now, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm running a similar contest from AP Stat class. They seem to be having a good time with it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, maybe we'll do that in 2028. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it.
Coming up on 3 hours here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got to do some work tonight. Thanks, John, for the 311 super chat. Really appreciate the contributions as always. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. Tom, you want to plug your Twitter or Twitch channel here?
Yeah, I need to update that. I'm a 6-time Rocket League champion.
Nice.
Now, including a platinum tournament. So yeah, I haven't been streaming too much later, but give me a follow on there, and we can just, it's just me bantering about nonsense while I play video games. So hope to see you on there. Appreciate everyone coming by and hanging out. I always have a great time with y'all.
Yeah, a lot of fun doing the show. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to have a new co-host on Tuesday. Andy's going to do a Thursday next week, so looking forward to that. Kenny on Wednesday. He hasn't told me that he can't come on, so I assume he's going to be on. And then Saturday with Tom again. So full week of co-hosts, so I don't have to do a solo show, which is I'm fine doing it. Just it's kind of tough to talk by yourself for like an hour and a half in a row, But yeah, looking forward to it, and good luck with all your bets tomorrow and Monday. Just looking forward to it. Any thoughts on the Wanna Boner? Depends on what she looks. Depends on what she looks like. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll talk to you later.